For the Minutes, a Tuesday's Life Books inspiration. Series 1, Book 4 of 9. Written between May 9th, 2004 and January 18th, 2005. For the children in the dark rooms all over the world, developing, longing, and dreaming. Introduction. Very seldom do you meet someone in your life that you honest to God think is going to become what he or she says they are. All the fantasies as a kid with ambitions that broke through the ceiling for most are gone by the time you hit the end of high school. For me, it's easy to believe that brettalancoker will be, at some point in his life, held in high regard by all of pop culture. This comes as no surprise, after witnessing firsthand the dedication and the passion that he puts into all of his work. I had met Brett way before our friendship ever began to really take hold. I was eating with a bunch of strangers at the time, including Brett, that only a friend at the time knew. She said she wanted me to meet these people, as she felt that I would really like them. After the meal and all of the tableside banter, I was left with the feeling that she was right. But unfortunately, I would probably never see most of these people again. That's where I was wrong. Not more than a few months later, I found myself working with all these people and quickly becoming friends with a good majority of them. Brett was just at that time one of those people. During that period, we shared our thoughts on everything, movie or music related. For about a year that I worked with him, I had no idea that Brett had such a passion for poetry and writing in general. What further surprised me upon learning this was that it went back so far. Before I'd ever met Brett, he had written screenplays, full journals, and large amounts of poetry. All of this I see in my eyes as a great accomplishment. Somehow or another, as we were conversing back and forth, I must have brought up my earlier works of poetry. I imagine the subject came up as more of a jokingly, "Hey, look at these," type of comment. I was surprised to find from Brett that despite what material/subject matter my poetry contained, he took it just as seriously as if it were his own work. He read past the immature fart jokes and crudeness of it all and saw something in my writing that eventually led to a more mature and focused style of poetry. That is just the kind of personality that Brett is. Everything is an art form to him, even my silly scat poetry. Thankfully, I was able to meet Brett not long before he first published his book of poetry, Till the Streetlights Came On. It was a fascinating read at the time, as I can honestly say that I had never seen anything like it. Although now comparisons to Bukowski are there, but even then, neither of us knew who that great poet was or what style of poetry he specialized in. Brett's poetry is honest and brutal, but painfully emotional at the same time. It is guaranteed you will feel just about every single waking emotion that Brett did during the time of writing for each poem. I always believed before then that subtlety in poetry was the only way to do it. But after reading Till the Streetlights Came On, it was evident to me that I couldn't have been more wrong. Reading through poems that so straightforwardly shared feelings and thoughts was mind-blowing. During my time with Regal Cinemas, I had the opportunity to see Brett release 2 more books, Understanding Thursday and Ars Gratia Artis. Each one improved on the previous, and gradually saw a smoothing of the edges. By the time his 3rd book came, Ars Gratia Artis, it looked as if he had discovered the perfect blend of abstractness and his signature brutal honesty. In roughly 3 years, Brett had managed to take all from the first book, harness it, and fine-tune it to perfection. It is an honor that I've gotten a chance to know brettalancoker as a true friend and as a magnificent literary talent. Every day I wish to myself that I had at least an ounce of the dedication that Brett puts forth into all his works and writing. It is something that I don't find in myself and other people enough nowadays. With all that said, it is with great pleasure that I leave you with the following pages consisting of Brett's 4th book of poetry, which will undoubtedly be his best work yet. Enjoy it. Jonathan Harnish. Part 1. What's the point of bottling lightning if you don't have the balls to throw it? On Mother's Day. A mother isn't just a woman with children. A mother is a woman who provides love, happiness, and all of the things kids need to grow. A mother is a woman who watches her kids fall and lets them make mistakes because she knows she taught them right and wrong, and they will eventually find their way and get back up to be something great. A mother is a woman who is sad at times, but cries behind closed doors, not wanting her children to worry. A mother is a woman who will always worry where there isn't anything to worry about. A mother is a woman who is beautiful and loving and will stand by her kids no matter what they do. A mother is a nurturing woman who will always accept the worst of gifts with a smile on her face. A mother is a woman who loves enough to accept a poem on Mother's Day because her son has no idea what she really wants. Vow. By the time I finish this collection, I want to look up and see that all that is around me is new. I just don't want to be in the same life as I write the final line. Barista. Hopefully she knows I'm looking. She's hooking me in with her sexy swagger. The dyed black hair but blonde streaks, tight but low-hanging jeans, a bit of a tattoo showing on her back, and lip piercing. Her smile is piercing my heart, but it feels so damn good. There's something about her. There's just something about her. The way she moves and dances on occasion. Plus she knows the words to many, many songs by The Cure. I wonder if she knows I'm watching, interested in getting to know her. So pretty and attractive. I wish I could tell her what is in my head. Hopefully she knows I'm looking and that she is hooking me in with her sexy swagger. The coffee house girl with dark, mysterious eyes. Change. Yes, we did. I miss your smile and the way you'd devour a pear. I miss your candy corns and cinnamon bears. I miss your little waddle and the way you'd walk on the cuffs of your pants. I miss your huge-ass belt that would pull your pants down and the little metal studs that would poke my skin and send shivers through my body. I miss your undying obsession with Good Charlotte, your hatred of Radiohead, and annoyance with the RX Bandits. I miss how we'd be standing, me hugging you from behind. I'd shake you, and you'd wiggle your cute little butt. I miss your dozens of band stickers in the back of your truck and the buttons on your visor. I miss knowing you do anything I ask. I miss your tiny bed with its million pillows and the thing that would beep every couple of minutes in your room. I miss your long hair and hearing you breathe beside me in bed. I miss your adorable finger toes. I miss the 4:45 a.m. calls when you're driving to work. I miss knowing I was the only one. I miss your bras and thongs lying all over your room. I miss your mismatched socks with the individual toes, both rainbow and green striped. I miss having to open your gifts for you and the way you'd eat pizza, how you'd scrape off all the cheese and then I'd eat it. It sucks that we never got to celebrate our holiday. I miss the days when thinking about you didn't hurt. I miss the days when we were still making new memories. I miss not having a present or a future. I just miss you. Stargazer, or an idle dreamer. If I stopped my heart from beating, if I stopped my lungs from breathing, if I masked my scent and didn't blink, would you know I was there? If we were in a dark room together, could you sense my love for you? In Secula Seculorum. Captious eyes coruscate, fluorescein reflects off porcelain, master full of encomium, and sycophants promulgate their desires. Objurgatory voices whisper obsequies, as the clairvoyant children hum requiems. Space time and causality. Project into the atmosphere, images bouncing off of light beams, sounds reverberating, striking Saturn's rings, occultation active in the universe, segregation of the gases, vapors, and phosphors, trails burning and dying, with underlying dreams of angels descending, alien perambulator, traveling 3 parsecs to spearhead the cosmic revolution. Yeah, it's something. Troubled, depressed, worried that I may never find new words or a new story to tell. I'm getting cramped. My mind is backing up. All is contrived. The only thing I can write about is not having anything to write. I do not want to fail you, let you down, or anything like that. We've surpassed 400 pieces. I am so tired. I do not believe I have much more. The past few weeks, I've been reading the dictionary, looking up random words, using them in poems, not to try and sound smart, but as a memorizational tool. Right now, in this transition, all seems made up. But if asked about my work, or a single word used, I'll have to be able to define it. So it is just ready fuels to knowledge. A sad homage to Amberlin. At the beginning of Ars Gratia Artis, everything was slow. However, I did hit a turbo boost, kit style, a speed zone, and the pieces came so fucking fast. But as we see now, it didn't last. The happiest heart and the saddest girl. Her body is on my bed, moonlight running over her skin, her chest rising and falling like intonations, music droning from the radio, its crystal diodes brilliance of light outdone by her naked breasts. Her body perspires as I salivate, a noticeable warmth coming from her genitalia, heating my hands as they explore, and my tongue slides over her neck. Pax Graffito. I could write about you and me, that is. Each page a story, each page a terrific event. An entire book about you and I, whole chapters dedicated to those nights in bed and every orgasm had. Fill the book from front to back, about our beginning and end. My paper heart could have been that canvas, but you tore that to shreds. My blood was to be the ink, but you bled me fucking dry. I-435, or a highway Ouroboros. Coming full circle, an hour and 10-minute drive, 82 miles round trip. Past a movie theater in Kansas I used to work at. Then past a movie theater in Missouri I currently work at. Following a drunk driver for 15 miles and dialing 911 for the first time. Sparta and Thursday tracks randomly playing. Dark fields and foggy rivers. Lightning rods and runways. Run-down barns and broken-down cars. Coming full circle. Nothing accomplished. Past Kelly's old house. Past the parking lot we once made love in. Returning home, seeing teenage boys hiding from headlights, like I used to, down the street from my home. Nothing accomplished. Returning to an empty house. The only friends are images on DVDs. Coming full circle. Eating my own tail. We've come too far to fail. Screaming up into the gray sky. Can you hear me above the hate cloud? Or is each teary drop knocking all my words back down to the ground? Soaking into the grass, drying up, my voice fading, thunder drowning me out. Niggle. I'm reaching out, extending my hands to dance with ghosts. But even they are holding out for someone better. Halos Costos. Rusted speakers atop a faded wooden pole. Synthesized vocals repeating and repeating. This is not the end. This is not the end. Two naked children, a boy and girl, wrinkled, pruny skin, staring up at the night. This is not the end. This is not the end. Stealth bombers miles high in the sky. The two children grasp hands, rain soaking them, wetting down their hair, and falling into their sockets that are lacking eyes. Robots marching in step, timed with the record skipping, dust on the vinyl. This is not the end. This is not the end. Empty sockets full of water. The children look down, acid-laden tears pouring. Robots marching closer. The synthesized voice snaps and pops. This is the end. This is the end. The last two children, holding hands, looking back up with blind eyes, not seeing the bombs descending. Final kisses should never be on Valentine's Day. Don't stir it up, but don't fuck with me. I don't want to see. We fucked it up, I don't want to see. Just come back, 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 just come back. The only love I knew, the only love I want. I don't want to see your face. I just want us. I just want us. Just come back, just come back, just come back. Okay. I'm done. The laid back posse. When one friend started smoking weed, we let him go, knowing he'd be okay and he'd grow out of it. When he started acid, ecstasy, and coke, we kept our mouths shut, letting him learn on his own. When another friend started hanging out with this group of guys we knew were thieves and criminals, we let him go, knowing he was smart and he would wise up, then grow out of this phase. When my closest friend started talking about how much he hated life and writing dark poetry about slitting wrists and suicide, we let him, knowing he had a good heart and that he'd feel better eventually and see that his life is worth so much. When I cheated on my girl for the first time and told my friends, no one said a word. When I did it again, their mouths were still shut. So I figured that they trusted me to grow out of my phase. We all sat back, trusting each other. We all sat back, allowing each other to fail. One friend is a junkie, another friend is in jail, my closest friend is gone, and I am alone with no love. Friends are the best people to help you destroy yourself. Con amor siempre. To see the love of a lifetime beside you in bed is to look back in time and see the one who left you. Recherchez mais en scène. Forgive and forget and never let anyone in. I lied when I said it'd never begin again. Trust and regret go hand in hand, for the first leads to the second. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. My eyes are closed children. If you read this, that means you care. And if you care about me, it means I don't know you. And if you do know me, have you left me too? Or are you going too soon? Right now, I can't believe what my heart is telling me. It tells me to forgive and forget, but this motherfucking heart is what told me to trust in the first place. And now, I am full of regret. Scrizzle. The Brett inside my head that comes alive inside my dreams is hoping, wondering, and wishing to one day come alive and be real. Is this yours? Or the meat gazer? Deprivation of the senses. This is what we all need. So we all feel no pain or pleasure. It sounds like an extreme measure, but it's better than living in this world of backstabbing and false sympathy. Have you realized yet that all we have is fake? Tits, lips, butts, hairs, nails, and calves. One by one, we all are slowly becoming living mannequins and robotic dolls. Meretricious Messiah. One man stood with a gun in his hand. Another man stood with a briefcase. Inside the briefcase was $200,000, ransom for the tied-up daughter lying at the feet of the gunman. The gunman was scared and shaking. He was in trouble and only needed the money to help his wife and sons. The briefcase man understood and made the transaction and got his daughter back, safe and sound. As the gunman drove off, the police moved in. He was apprehended. The briefcase man leaned down to the patrol car window and spoke to the gunman, now without his gun, and told him he understood his problem. The gunman cried and apologized. "It was to save my family. I'm so sorry." The briefcase man said, "It's okay. I will look in on your family while you do your time, and all will be okay." 3 weeks later, the briefcase man is home with his wife and daughter swimming in their pool. The gunman is behind bars reading the paper about a house fire that claimed the lives of 3, a woman and 2 sons. The gunman cried and slowly wasted away. Love and pain are both 4-letter words. She is burnt. Her love is in flames and she is trying to hold on to it. Why won't she let it go? Her fingers bleed and melt, flesh dripping and remolding to make a mitt. She loves what she has so much. Why can't she let it go? She wants to die for her love, and I can understand. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Jackie D and OJ on the table. Music playing. Some shit about drugs. Now, AFI's Girls Not Gray. 11:50 p.m. Smoke in my nostrils from a cigarette across the room. Alone in a corner booth. No one to drink with me or converse over food. It makes me feel terrible, but I'm slowly becoming used to it. May 16th, 2004, Sunday. Sitting in this bar, Aerosmith's Love in an Elevator video just played, and following right after was Newfound Glory's Understatement. 2.5 years ago, if that video had played, I would have been the only one to know who the fuck they were. Now I'm probably the only one who doesn't give a shit. I'm so elitist. Untitled. Like a coaster soaked in condensation, I've absorbed my fill and can't take any more. Follow me through the point of no return. All we are criminals, outlaws and refugees, corrupt bodies never allowed to enter Zion. The Ferris wheel that stops at the top, or the revolution comes to an end. Please forgive me for not remembering your face, you, the girl from a lifetime ago, the one with hair down to her ass, jelly shoes, and firefly glow on her ears. Please forgive me for not remembering your smile. It has been so long since our kisses on your swing set. We were young loves, but like the firefly's glow, it always burns out. Never said to quit calling. A personification of never. The ink is running on the page. The words you wrote are crying after reading themselves. They know that what you are saying is something that shouldn't be read. The pages of your letter are tearing, for the pain the fibers feel is eating them alive. Your tears on the letter soak into the ink and fibers, and you all synergize to become one. Dirty dogs and dastardly deeds. Make me up, take me down, love it up and let's get down. Tomorrow we'll pretend to not know each other. Tonight is all about what it is. Love will find a way. I'd walk through the fires of hell. I'd destroy heaven with my fists. I'd say goodbye to all the faces I know, to have you hold my hand for one more day. You kept our love in a jar and forgot to poke holes for it to breathe. Visions of your charcoal eyes and ember lips are what provide warmth on cold nights and a light to write by. From their guitars to my austere ears, only the radio waves will reach me tonight, so I'm shelled up inside myself. Only the voices of those projecting from the speakers will be allowed a chance to change me. Somehow these voices know everything I'm feeling. It's like they are speaking directly to me. Are you? The wick that pointed to the west. The rumbling thunder shakes the table, rocks the candle, and flickers the flame. The orange glow lights my face and eyes. Rain hits the window like a pianist and his keys. The song he sings is melancholy. Fire burns. His vocal cords vibrate. My lips quiver as I set my pen to paper, and she dances through my mind. Within the ashes lies a silence. Come hang with me tonight in the tree of deceit. Allow our halos to fall from our heads to our necks and provide a noose. Our eyes will bleed, but tears won't fall. There is no one in this world who deserves them. The wolves will howl in the distance. The cicadas will chirp, and moths will circle our flaming eyes. But tears won't fall. There is no one in this world who deserves them. At least no one I know. Ex libris cocerus. In the crawl space underneath our house is the answer to the question we'll never know. The lock on the door prevents us from thinking and from ever hoping to find the key. The brotherhood of addiction and attrition, or hand in hand we all fall down. 3:50 a.m. Cigar on the front porch, first one in a year. Roof of my mouth is burning. Increase the production of saliva. A pool of excess spit on the ground. The porch light goes off every few minutes. The photocell catching movements. Motion sensors. Writing in between the darkness. Rhythmically puffing to keep the cherry alive. Struggling to blow smoke rings on a windy night and sticking my finger through them. Not letting them die virgins. Sometimes a cigar is a cigar. Sometimes it can represent phallic insecurities, and sometimes it can symbolize success. But sometimes it just means I'm lonely and writing on my porch in the off and on darkness. Like vaginal juice, the smell will linger on your fingers through at least 2 washes. Like your life and like your past, you will never be clean. You will never get rid of the stench. My mind is buzzing with the sound of June bugs, although it is still May. Heart is racing to the tune of a moth's wings. When the light is on, the moth flutters around it, and I set my pen to the striped fiber. When the light is off, the moth is lost, and so am I. Burn it through to the tip, after the final drag. Bust the cherry into the ashtray. Blow the last ring, and let it go, and savor the innocence. The war of art. Naked, sitting cross-legged, in a square of light on the floor. Rays from the sun shot through the skylight in the roof. Absorbing, gestating, licking the fear from the air. Sweating, perspiring, extending my arms, forearms cast in shadows, cooled by shade, waiting for night to come. Cutting myself on the circle's edge. This is for the silent beauties and raving minds. This is for the whispers that want to scream. This is for the exquisite expatriates. This is for us all. A wrench in the cog and gears. I can hear the highway in the distance and a train running on the tracks. Outside again, feeling the breeze, feeling the vibes coming from the TV inside. What exactly is it that TVs emit that lets me know one is on, even if it's in a different room? Where are those people in the cars on the highway going? Where is that train taking its load? Do they know I can hear them? Do they know I want to destroy them? Do they know that someday they will all know my name? BFF. MF. Reading books by streetlights. Just a lonely wallflower. The only one who won't die when worlds collide. Just waiting for the next stage of love and life. Nervously anticipating meeting 1,000 new friends. We accept the love we think we deserve, or so the book says. Most of the time we deserve the love, but don't have the chance to accept it. This pen meets the page in a shadow cast by my hand. I just want love, whether I deserve it or not. Although I believe I do. I just want love. Bind the ties. As much as I can believe this, I know deep down inside that I was put on this planet to love you forever, whether you were there to enjoy that love or not. 15L27. Your shadow is on the sidewalk without your body attached. So I drop to my knees and put my lips to the asphalt and suck the darkness into my mouth. This is all I have left of you. A mouthful of shade. Filthy diseased whores. And the eunuchs that love them. On and on we move. Fall to fly and fall. This all is all there is. I can't see where I'm going. I don't want to open my eyes. Look at this strabismic woman. She is covered in my semen. How she got it, I have no idea. I've not been in a woman in months, and I'm so scared to do so anyway. Why does she have my seed? Why do I have no one? On and on we fall, move to fly and move, sinning to the beat of double-timed drums. My superlative reproductive organ, or pulling out all the stops. Something is fishy at the seafood festival. Some boiling points are maxing out the scale. Burned out bulbs in the marquee. Disconnecting cords. Respecting cocks and taming cunts. An homage, anyone? Exordium. If I become famous, if I become rich, if I'm on TV doing interviews or on the covers of magazines striking poses, if I become an icon, if I become a mogul, if I change from what I am, if I sell out, if I start to believe I'm the prodigy or the wunderkind reviewers and critics say I am, it is your place. The people who know me, the people who know my work, my fans who appreciate me. It is your place to knock me off my fucking pedestal. Darkness surrounds, or an hour without power. The storm is coming. The rain and hard winds, the hail and thunder. It is going to fuck your shit up. It will make you tremble. Hide from it, you pussies. The sizzle heard off the drag you take. Dying to live a lie, to end these dreaded cries. Live to bear my love and loving to barely live. What else is the world going to throw at me? How many times is it going to kick me when I'm down? Keep watching. Maintain this level of laughter. After I fight off this demon, all of you assholes will be the ones I'll be coming after. There's not a single cloud in the sky tonight, and there's no sparkle or hope in my eyes to light the way on the path I will soon be taking. Elizabeth. After we give birth to artificial intelligence and celebrate our brilliance, and after the robots destroy man, do you think generations later the robots will celebrate when they create and give birth to organic and natural life? Bird dog and chicas and bangin' beaver. See this as I touch you. Scream my name, whore, as I fuck you. I no longer give a shit about what tomorrow brings. I just want to shoot my load on your chest, then leave you. I am once again weak. Women made me this way, so now other bitches must pay. I just want and need to love you, and have you love me, but you think I'm hot and see the size of my cock and can't wait for a ride. I'm just meat to you, and to me you're just a cum rag. Page 49. Barefoot on the streets at midnight. Shadows in the household windows stare out at the sight. A naked child with blood running down his chest, tears in his eyes. Snot down his nose falling in his mouth. Friday night with TVs on. No one to help him out. Even the ones who see him close their blinds and lock their doors. Not their business. Not my business. The father catches the boy and drags him away by his feet. The boy's body being grated on the ground. The early morning rain will wash away his flesh. Not their business. Not my business. Too many motherfucking sheep to slaughter. Nothing to fucking say, but I'm writing words anyway. Nothing to fucking write, but if I don't scribble, I'll be up all night. Tuesday morning. No more of this lonely bullshit. No more late night fits. No more I don't deserves. No more unsaid words. No more letting others dictate who I am. No more fucking gives a dams. No more bitches to leave me. No more backstabbing fucks to deceive me. No more waiting for something. No more giving to get nothing. No more nights without a moon. No more songs without a tune. No more poems without themes. No more pills to stop the dreams. No more no mores on this list. Greystone South Plaza. Partake in this combustion. Meditation won't stop this pain. Rain down my characters, formed in lines to words. As absurd as it is to see me fall, the birds know I'll rise through it all. Because I have to, because I choose to, because I lost you, because I lost who? I no longer know, nor do I know what I feel inside. This ride is set to get real bumpy. Turbulence is imminent and delicious. As pernicious as this will probably be, just know, you cunts, that I hurt. I hurt. I motherfucking hurt so bad. Due to the loss of love I had. I've never felt so mad. I've never felt so lost. I'm writing the final line of this poem right now. C17. So it's who not whom. Looming to see it seems. Melancholy alabaster dreams. To sizzle and drizzle and beam. Kicking over the rock and pulling up the rug. To expose what's beneath. Is this America, the home of the brave and free? Is this that nation undivided, with all these states united? Is this the country that their only God should bless? Is this that government corporation controlled, that forces its people to give to get less? Work, 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 buy, buy, buy. Work, 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 buy, buy, buy. Round and round we go. Work, 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 buy, buy, buy. Until the day we die. Stare at screens. Forget to reach for dreams. Live day to day and watch what you say. If not, the Christian Gestapo will take you away. Is this the America, the country that believes in a killing ratio of 1 to 1,000? 1 fallen soldier equals 1,000 murdered civilians. Is this that America that spends $400 billion a year on defense against quote-unquote terror, when 10% of that could feed, clothe, and house all the homeless children and families? Is this that two-faced America filled with people who preach that sex should only be for love, then get angry with teen moms when their moms are buying new tits and golden dildos? Where is the love in silicone and plastic? Is this that America that doesn't know the smell of its own shit? About to unleash my slithery and cynical beast. Look, a little nice guy. Look, a little white guy. All I ever do is try. 4/18/36. No one can see that I've been faking happiness. No one can see that I'm so close to living the darkness. Upturned noses and low-top chucks. Dissent and elation. A boy sat down to scream without opening his mouth, heart, or mind. But stop, pause, and rewind. You will see the fear in his eyes. Orgasm and commotion. Is sickness, this thing dripping, to see through my fading and dying, to drop a dime and see the life, fuck I can't feel. My heart is gone, these pills corrupt and fuck me up. There is no light to guide and drive, but fuck this and all of you. Why do you lie to me, and why won't you lie with me in these cold arms? I want to harm all and devour souls. These dreams and places and plans or ideas or dreams. Oh yes, what? This is. I can see now. I don't know how. To attach and attack. Derail the trail, fall up the hill. Remove these bits from drills. Come for me, come on me, you sluts. Eat me, feces and desires. Tippity tap mofo. At the bat with dick sucking lips. Scrape nails down hips. As it all drips down. This sickness. Celebrity lineup. And me without my gun. Break the beakers and smash the jars. Are we all merely specimens? Are specimens all we is? What is it be with this? Who dat be it true? Rip the papers and rape the minds. Turn tails and run. End all this time. Fight through degradation. Fight through scatology. Let the germs and worms into your id, ego or the super one. A ton of lies and darling smiles. Blue eyes with hash-lined lips and powdered coat clits. Sweet-ass THC tits to rock the boats of ecstasy and troglodyte emotion. Breath blown in the face of a fly. What am I accomplishing? What is being done? Is there progression? A forward motion? Or is this all futile? The attempt being made, I mean. This is book 4, untitled as I write. Books 1 through 3 have served no purpose. No one has even read. No one will ever care or carry my words in their fucking heads. But I digress. What I should have done. Why is it that sometimes driving your car off of the road and into a bridge embankment just makes sense? Part 2. Photographing sunsets is like slitting the throats of angels. A threesome of hearts and minds. The short girl cries, her cousin cries, and the boy cries inside. 3 broken hearts, leftover pieces of relationships. The boys ended months ago, the cousins weeks ago, and the short girls an hour ago. They all want their love back, sharing a couch, cuddled together. Well, the short girl and cousin, at least. The boy stays close, but still stays away. He is friends with the girl's ex-boyfriends. The boy thinks that both of the girls are beyond gorgeous, but they, much like his ex, are all women that he can never have. They all tell stories of their past loves, all in the past. None are present. They all talked about why they loved and who they loved. close call pregnancies, and their favorite sexual positions. All the things one should never share. But it's all they have to make them feel happy, since the arms that once held them are gone. But soon they'll be in love again. But as we all know, eventually they'll end up sitting back on the couch or crying in redemption. The only love felt is that of their new friends, the open arms to hold them and keep them company in a car in the early morning as they race the sunrise home. Passengers drink as the driver drives. Empty Corona bottles scattered on the coffee table. 6 lives running about the house. Eric walks around in his socks, his eyelids drooping and the whites of his eyes are red. John's skinny frame is full of chili cheese burritos and a half-dozen beers. He runs around the front yard. Brett, a little tipsy, sitting, being a voyeur, and watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Ariana keeps an eye on everyone, sitting in the other chair with a knit blanket on her lap. Amber walks around, her heart in her throat, and pain and lost love in that heart. Moira, in her tight black pants and almost see-through white wife beater, nipples poking through. John, Eric, and Moira finish food around the dining room table, laughing and chugging down beers. Amber sits on the couch, going off about the girl she hates. Amber turning and seeing Eric in the dining room. Amber yells, fuck you, goddammit. Eric doesn't hear. Ariana listens to Amber and looks at Brett. Both feel so bad for Amber. Brett wishing he could take her pain away and add it to his. Eric, John, and Amber disappear into the front yard. Moira migrates into the living room and plops down on the floor. Brett's eyes mentally copulate her body. Moira is very attractive, talking more than normal. She stands up and then lies upside down, hanging off the couch. Her body stretching so much you can see her stomach and there's her smooth, pierced little belly. Brett grabs his heart and looks to Ariana. He mouths, "Oh my God." Ariana smiles and laughs. John bursts through the front door. Amber pissed her pants. Moira jumps up and runs her sexy ass into the dining room, saying something about having clothes in her trunk for Amber to change into. Ariana goes outside to see. John follows. Brett stands and walks by the dining room and says, "God, you're so hot," to Moira. Then he walks outside. Eric is sitting on the tailgate of Brett's truck. John is pissing on the tree in the front yard. Amber turns to toss some beer on John, and John hops away across the yard trying to get away and also zip himself up. Ariana stands in the street, looking over at Blue Ridge Mall. Moira comes out of the house. Amber's pants are dry. She didn't piss them. John can't find his beer, and then sees one in Amber's hand. He chases her, trying to get it from her, thinking it is his. John suddenly stops, realizing his pants are getting wet. He reaches into his front left pocket and pulls out his Corona and takes a sip. Eric and Brett laugh uncontrollably. Moira talks about Amber pissing her pants. "I have a bunch of prom dresses in my trunk." Amber says she has to pee and goes into the house. Ariana stands on the driveway. Eric and Brett sit on the tailgate. Moira runs down to her car and is standing by the trunk with the trunk lid open and is yelling inaudible things about dresses. John stumbles around on the driveway. Cars drive by down the street. Moira comes running up from the parking lot, leaving her trunk lid open and holding a half-dozen dresses. Her, John, and Ariana stand in the driveway. Moira drops the dresses on the ground as a few hangers pop out. Moira tells each dress's story. Brett watches and tells Eric, "Sometimes I don't feel anything for her, and sometimes I want her so bad." What Eric may not know is Brett is talking about the wanting of his heart and not of his cock. Eric looks back at him, then gets up and walks down to Moira's car and shuts the trunk lid. Moira holds dresses up to John's chest. Brett can immediately imagine what John will look like in it. Eric walks back and sits next to Brett. Amber comes out of the house. Moira talks about wearing a dress to a dance. I lost my virginity in this one. She walks over and slides the dress over Brett's head. She laughs and walks away. Dresses cover the driveway. Brett takes the dress off. Eric says, "The dresses don't belong on the ground." Moira picks up the dresses and says, "I have to go close my trunk." She runs off across the road and trips and falls under her stomach. Brett and Eric laugh hysterically. John laughs and picks up a forgotten dress. He runs after Moira, holding his long arm in the air, waving the dress with one hand and holding a beer in the other. He hits the grass hill and falls in the same spot Moira did. Amber mills about in the front yard. Eric goes inside. Moira walks by Brett and says, "Sorry to make you jizz in your pants." This comment bothers Brett. Moira walks inside. Amber throws an empty bottle across the street. It hits the grass and doesn't break. She runs after it and throws it again, and it shatters in the street, right in front of the driveway. 10 seconds later, Amber walks by the glass and sees it. She asks, "Who did that? Did I do that?" She feels like shit. "I'm just a fuck up. Why should I do anything?" she says. She walks inside. Brett feels for her. John goes inside. Brett sits there on his tailgate and wells up with tears, thinking about his love, about having so much in his heart but no one to share it with. Ariana sees Brett and asks, "Are you okay?" Brett nods. Ariana asks, "Are you sure?" Brett nods his teary-eyed head. Ariana walks inside. Brett sits on the tailgate, thinking about losing his last love and wanting to be close to someone. Ariana comes back out and sweeps up the broken glass, sweeping the small pieces into the ditch and picking up the bigger shards. She sets them on the tailgate and finishes off the street. Brett picks up the broken pieces and goes into the house. John pukes. Eric passes out. Amber cusses more about Eric and the girl she hates. Moira still turns on Brett. Ariana keeps an eye on everyone. Brett goes into the kitchen and throws the broken pieces away. June 30th, 2004, Wednesday. 1 year ago I wrote, "It's not that I don't love right now. I just never stopped loving back then. But now, right now is back then. And like always, I wish I had the life I had a year ago. Maybe one day my past will catch up to my present, and I'll love the moment." The visions of girls with sparklers that cause fireworks inside your heart. For Moira, Marilyn, and Kelly. Seeing the women you once knew is often like seeing a painting you've seen 1,000 times. Most often you see it and walk by. Other times you are enchanted by it. You see every detail, every stroke, every point. You see it in all its magnificence and glory. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror, often just a glance and you turn away. But sometimes you look and see every wrinkle and dent. You see what it is you really are, and this makes you never want to look again. Like seeing the girl who left you. Sometimes it's better to close your eyes, so you won't even remember how amazing she really was. Exit signs and faceless clocks. Throw up your hands. Take down these words. Scribble dots and dashes. Make wishes from fingertips bearing fallen eyelashes. Extend hands and arms. Disarm your minds. Prevent the descent from harm. Tap toes and scream to set off alarms. Bottle this envy and trust, this lying face. Taste this sour deceit like venom. Poisonous flowers at your feet. Drag nails across my back. Spit your juice in my eye as you orgasmically attack. This is all a part. A start. A part of my start. This is all a part and start of my falling apart. Route 44. Goose step and boots march in time and tune to the clicking heels of red light district whores, eating the hearts the meats of avocados, keying the doors of jet black tornadoes, high-toned son of a bitch. I pop my knuckles and chuckle to the crying faces of the AIDS-riddled third world savages. That buffer hour. Tell me, is it okay that I want to die? Tell me, am I less of a man because I cry? Tell me, is there a point in wanting love? Tell me, will I ever move beyond or above? I just want answers. Even if you have to lie to make me feel better. Progress. We promised not to fall for each other, but I failed. Now I don't know what the fuck we are, or where we are at. I want to be with you. I want to be the one you write letters to after you leave. I've wanted you for so long, and only had you for a week. Don't let a burned CD of the greatest album ever be the only thing you got from me. Skinny dipping in a pool of regret. Mirages are in effect down the highway. She's sitting outside my house, her feet stained green by chlorophyll from the freshly mowed lawn. Sun above shining down, tanning her skin to the color of the tea in the glass jar beside her on the porch. She's so beautiful. Why is she waiting for me? Why do I deserve her sun-kissed skin? Why am I out of town on the day she wants me back? Pleasure is lost in the valley. A stretch of road I used to drive every day, driven over it hundreds of times in the past. Barely go that way anymore. Driving it tonight, it felt different. Something was missing. There were bright days and rainy nights. There once was anticipation and love. A feeling of want awaited me. But now, yes now, there's no one there, counting down the seconds till I arrive. Once again, there is no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Adrian. He remembers being that 16-year-old who had a crush on an 18-year-old at his work. She had a boyfriend and would talk about sex. He really liked her, and when she'd leave work to go see her boyfriend, he would feel sick and the girl would feel bad. He also remembers being 18 and having a girlfriend who would leave work and come have sex with him. At her work, most of the younger guys wanted to be with her. The boy now enjoyed the fact his girlfriend was wanted by others. He remembers being 19 and cheating on his girlfriend, lying to her and saying he loves her in the same breath, and never really felt bad about it. He remembers being 21 and hearing guys talking about cheating on their girls and how he hated this type of guy, the kind of guy he used to be. He now is the guy who is alone, with no girl to cheat on, no girl to have younger guys want. He just misses what it was like to feel. Sexless lovemaking. Bodies on the floor, friends cuddling, just wanting to be together, cats crawling all around. The truth being spoken for the first time in a long time. Nobility. To the darkest dreams and the in-between, of dying lives and thriving strides, to love and lies, crimson hearts and cries, with boys and girls the joy of worlds, together as one, never undone, to fly and swoon from earth to moons, the end of all and to fall from high, just allow but try, and continue on, to burn bright and long, and fade from sight and eclipse the light, because this is what we do. D04, A13, D20. I'm just trying to run this pen dry, use up all its blood, turn it into a shell of what it once was. There's a lot of that going around, and it seems that I happen to always be the cause of it. I want to start anew. I want everything to fade. I want to dry up and die. Indictment, prosecution, and conviction. Eyes tear-filled, corner street stands, hands holding heart, extended arms out. Love full, so much of. Please take and place where it belongs. If not, I will die. Or, just keep doing what you're doing. Simply walking by. Turn it on like Donkey Kong. Years ago when I was in elementary school, I'd walk this trail. The trail passed a creek. After school, some guys, my brother and I, would play in this creek. We'd crawl through the sewer, and we had a gang called the Sewer Rats. Hence the title of a long fucked up poem in Understanding Thursday. One day the city came in and put large rocks and concrete in the creek, covering it all to prevent erosion. Then we'd ride our bikes through the creek, over the rocks. If you walk by there now, the rocks are barely visible. The grass and weeds once covered have now broken through and reclaimed their ground. Yes, it feels good to watch man inevitably fail. Whiskey Dick. My mind is blank, completely clear. I love it. I've earned it. Onk. Inside corrodes the arteries and capillaries, clog like drains with sobs and pains. Kick it like karate. There is something I've not yet faced, a topic yet to be tackled. I'd confront it, if only I knew what it was. The good exit. Biting lips and grinding teeth, scraping ankles on coral reef. All by myself in this ocean of vapors. Inhale the gases that subdue my consciousness. Deep inner longing, curling my toes in the wet sand, like coffee grounds spilled on tiles. Looking at these clouds, not rain, but smoker's residue. It won't leave me alone. I jump in patches of shade, but the sun keeps moving them. Why is everyone turning their backs to me? Boobs and twinkling stars. I'm not writing about her anymore, at least not that much. Does this mean I'm getting over her? I know I'm not, and even more than that, I never want to. Pinky finger trailed across a velvet rope. She picked up a framed picture of them and held it out. How can you walk away from this? We fit so perfect in this frame. He stops, sighs, and breathes. Looking her in the eyes, he says, "We have to fit in here," pointing to his head, and here, pointing to his heart. And she cried and broke the frame. And he said, "You see, even the most perfect of things can break." Caution, hot beverage. There is something unique about looking at glass and window panes. Mainly that you can see through your own reflection. When fucking becomes routine. 13 people are in this room. 12 are smiling. The 13th is too busy, wondering why the others are smiling. To smile myself or himself. Do the right thing. Spend years of my life pretending to be something more than I was. Spend years of my life pretending to actually like myself. Spend years of my life trying to find who I truly am. Spend years of my life trying to be better to the people I hurt. Spend years of my life knowing I'm better than this. Spent a day of my life actually feeling it. Stolen lines. In a brilliant saga, which is my drama. Infernal internal clocks, ticking eyes uncontrollable. These lines are scribed by Timothy Lee Bonnet Jr. I'm not sure if anyone but him and I have read them. These lines deserve to be seen by all. Is it Pralian or Predalian? I began to write at 15. I'm now 22. 7 years. 3 books of poetry, around 500 poems. 23 screenplays conceived, 7 finished, 3 of those lost to the ages. 10 short film screenplays, 10 short stories, 1,000 more of each in my head. Still, I feel like a failure. A honky in a crowd of rowdies. Why be the poster boy? Or the voice of the revolution? When you can be the evil they revolt against. We totally pubed his lid. We've been at war with terror for almost 3 years. We have been at war with Iraq for 1.5 years. And all we have learned is to make patriotic magnets and not stickers. That way we can take them off our minis, PT Cruisers, and SUVs, and it won't hurt the resale value. Where have I heard that before? I wish there was something I could do to make you feel for me, what I feel towards you, because it is so extraordinary. I have no doubt in my head or heart that what I have inside reserved for you is what most people spend their entire lives searching for. Porcelain. Playing the music loud drowns out her voice in my head, repeating the things she once said, things I'll never hear again. In the shadow of 2 gunmen. 3:16 a.m. Took sleeping pills at 10:30 p.m. yesterday. I'm still awake. Nothing stopped my broken heart and distraught mind. Interior coffee house, night, a while later. Through all of this we live and fight to win the prize. We know our friends mess up. We know that we all lie. But forget the things behind you. Just look at what lies ahead. For love is life and life is love. And that's all we have in this world. List, or trement. I bummed a cigarette, but I don't smoke. You do, and you are just like to smoke, for soon you will be gone. We said our goodbyes, although you said not to act like it was a goodbye. We drove off. The streets were wet. Joy Division's Atmosphere playing in my truck. I sped by you and raised my hand into the air. It twinkled different colors. We both stopped at that last light. You dragged a finger across your cheek, faking a teardrop. Yeah. Boondoggled and hornswoggled. How pathetic can I be? It's 4:01 a.m. Sunday morning. Talking to a girl in New York on the internet. Wishing she was here so I could fall in love with her. A DVD of The Cure spinning in the player. Robert Smith, Watching Me Fall. Reading screenplays I wrote. So pathetic. So alone. So ready to make my mark. August 25th, 2004. Wednesday. Quote, "You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge." Straight out of Compton, NWA. Why do I think I'm so cynical? I just look at this world and all I see are the dark, vulgar things. Date rapes, drugs, child molestation, unregulated prostitution, teenage mothers strung out teens, a new generation of female teenage smokers. You know, lung cancer has now surpassed breast cancer as the #1 killer of women, and that the percentage of teen girls smoking is on the rise as the percentage of teen boys smoking is decreasing. There's a generation of men who own 2 jet skis and a 4-wheeler, but can't remember their kids' teachers' names. An entire nation of TV dinner eaters and reality show watchers. Guys can watch foul-mouthed white trash build motorcycles, but can't or won't find the time to read their kids' a bedtime story. We have 12-year-olds losing their virginities and sleeping with 10 people by the age of 15. Where's the innocence anymore? I'll tell you where. Dead and buried. Who killed it? We did. We've been exploiting a tragedy for 3 years and using it to instill fear. Fear to consume. Fear to not stand out. Fear to make you fit in and not think for yourself. We force-feed kids fear after they had their childhoods stolen on a day in September. They became adults because they saw the real world. A savage fucking world. They see blood and chaos on the news, but aren't given the opportunity to laugh and play. So since they can't be children anymore, and are forced to deal with the problems of today as adults, they become adults. They light up a smoke, down shots, and fuck their young little brains out. But mama and daddy are too busy duct taping windows and scanning unmarked brown packages to teach these young adults about responsibility, respect, STDs, AIDS. Can't blame the parents, though. They're also busy getting new tits, fanning religion, and divorcing. We've murdered 10,000 plus innocent men, women, and children because they have dark skin, and we call it patriotism. Patriotism prepackaged and sold through flags and bumper stickers. Why do I think I'm so cynical? I don't know. I just think about what I see when I look at this world. Why? What do you see? Zombie, zombie, zombie. Sleeping pills make worries stop and thoughts go away. When morning comes, my heart and head bring them back to attack and make me sigh. When the earth shakes and bottles break. Edge of the world, stop and stare. No names on the list of those who care. I have tears in my eyes and a hole in my heart. I turn around with my back to the edge. I want to see your face as I fall. I want to see you, see me, smiling. I'll be right behind you, crying, but hoping. I do imagine, John. I picture the day we, as people, hold hands and embrace, and use the past to face the future. I want this world to be something unbelievable. I want to see kids smile. I'll try my best to finish the revolution you began. And the world will live as one. Sweet number 2. I won't buy what you're selling. I won't join your cause. I won't take you for granted. I won't let you fall. I won't fail you. I will give you my attention, a shoulder, and a friend. Taking a bullet instead of a bong hit. Reflecting smiles in your eyes. Tonight forget our lovers' lies. Your touch will end all our sighs. True love like this never dies. Nowhere in 200th, where the pavement ends. Orion was out in the southeastern sky tonight, like it was around a year ago. He and God were looking down at me and laughing. They know they are pointing me in the right direction, while I drive through unknown roads. I hate my life right now. I've not driven this far south in 2 years. Since the night I learned my parents were divorcing. That night I listened to Further Seems Forever's The Moon Is Down. Tonight it was Sparta's Porcelain. That night years ago I fell asleep while driving for a split second, and it scared the hell out of me. Tonight I took 2 sleeping pills 2 hours before my drive. Driving by places not driven by in years. Once fields, then lots, now homes. I have no one. God knows this. But since I've been alone, I've written 1.5 books and an entire screenplay. I've accomplished so much, but I'm so fucking lonely. Drove past a place I've never been to, but have seen it in my dreams. Treaded tires, revolving rapidly over grit and gravel. I've done so much, but my head is about to explode. I write to release this pressure, but every poem squeezed out allows 100 more to squeeze in. I jerked off twice earlier tonight in the course of an hour. I wasn't even horny, just bored. It's the only release that actually feels good. But the pressure always builds back up, so close to putting a bullet through my brain. The moon was out so I could see the road, wishing I'd run off it, into a creek and into my death. Driving this fucking road to hell. Hopefully none of this bodes well. Funky spunk. Slowly beginning to fully see and understand. The visions and places in my dreams aren't there for me to find. They are there for me to build. Buying pussy on layaway. The cursor sat there blinking. I opened up the instant message box 5 minutes ago. I haven't typed a single word. It's just blinking and I'm wondering what you were doing on the other side. Are you staring at a blinking cursor too? My mind is so full of things to say to you. It's just that none of them will do any good. As long as it blinks, I'll never have you. Even if I spill my guts and you still wouldn't care. Then it came to me. I saw the date and remembered 3 years ago. I typed, "Happy anniversary," and logged off before you could respond. Across Missouri in the dead of night. Fog banks devour bridges. Demons sleep and ghosts can't catch me as I fly by at top speed. Fireworks stands, porn shops and churches. All you need. Faces of the dead. Shitfinger. Throughout my life, I must admit, I've been lucky to know true friendship ever since I was 10. I've had a small group of great people to latch onto when I need a hand. They do whatever I need, and I would help them however. What sucks is I've also encountered the other side. The people who always need you and use you for a shoulder to cry on. But when they are back with their loved one, they barely connect eyes with you. Shotgun blasts and blown wads. Next time I fall, I won't try to get back up. May it please come soon. The girl in the red coat. This here is a story. There's a man, there's a boy, there's a girl. The boy loves his girl. The girl loves her boy. The man is the snake. The boy trusts his girl and lets her go out, drink, and have fun. He stays home and drinks alone, writing about her and their love. One night, a Friday night, she is drunk. She sucks the man's cock. He fucks her till she comes, then blows it on her chest. The boy is at home, still writing about his love and trust. The boy is the victim. The girl is the committer of wrongdoings. The man is the snake, but truly did no wrong. This is a story. There is a man. There is a boy. There is a girl. There is a catch. In this version, I am the man, and I am the snake. 4 kids, Monopoly, Elliott Smith singing in the rain outside. The audience, they see the celluloid and light show. The audience, they see the effects, acting, and nudity. The audience hear the voices, sounds, and music. The audience, they applaud and cheer. But I, the auteur, am behind them. The audience, they don't see me crying. The only French I know is vulgar English. If you give me your hand, I would slit your fucking wrist. Then slit mine as wide as your fake fucking smile, bitch. I would tie our bleeding wrists together. Steam would rise. My hot blood hitting your cold. My love would bleed into you. The transfusion would leave us healthier than before. What I don't know is, you're a hemophiliac. and my love is killing you. It's hard to film and fuck at the same time. Because I can lie is why this is all I have. To die is my pleasure. What is your sin? You're fucking useless. I don't want to know anyone anymore. Leave me alone, you fucks. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. What the fuck? This is getting out of control. I can't hear. The world is too loud. The music doesn't make sense anymore. Please help me out of here. My head is holding my heart. My heart is split. My heart is dead. Oh, you don't believe me. I'm such a liar and you all know it. Fuck. Pause for drum solo. Laugh. My foot is tapping as the room spins and my heart falls. Throat fills with puke. Mind gives in and goes to sleep. My ears tune in to the sound of all the cries in the world. Shit. Shh. Do you hear that? It's the sound of 10 million dying screams and a billion fading whispers. All singing the death songs for the martyr. It's not me this time. I am merely the one who killed him. God. Hey, how are you? I'm better than I was. I don't curse you anymore. I curse myself. Because. The ringing in my ears makes me smile. Cracking the joints in my toes. Release and pressure and captivation. Do. Don't touch me right now, or I will rip out your... Don't feel for me. Don't try and reach. I beseech you. I implore you. Just turn away like all the women who said they loved me. Just stop and turn and walk away. No more golden days. Here comes the chorus again. The children are lining up, raising their heads, raising their arms to the sky. Voices full of sweetness. Soon it will be stolen from them. I feel 100 years old. I wish I was. I wish I was. I wish I was. I just so want to. A means to an end with no resolve. But check this out. I fucking hate you. Corrupter, corruptee. You don't care. You can't see past yourself. I stand before you, blood at my feet and throat slit. All you can see is the knife on the ground. And you are only worried about cutting yourself on it. Part 3. Someday, I'm going to be able to make the sound the Autobots make when they transform. The fakest orgasms and the truest lies. Save me, hear me, before it all ends and fades and goes away. I see your smile when I close my eyes. Your scent is in my nostrils, remembering all those basement nights. Save me, hear me. Save me. I can't hear my voice when I scream. Hear me. Fellow de sea. My dreams of you mix with the fog of night, and like morning dew, you'll be gone by the afternoon. Coup d'etat. I am an odd one, and I have many friends. You say you are normal and perfect. You'll fail if you try to fight, for we are against you. One last twirl. Tally marks on rubber bands around the wrist, a record of all the sex we had. Everything we shared seemed so long ago. I'm holding you above the water that is rushing over my head. Traumedy. Do you have any idea what I am? Do you remember who I was or what I used to be? If you do, will you please tell me? I can't remember anymore. Rockets that puncture clouds. The last of your innocence is on my lips. Busted cherry on my tongue. First drops of manhood on your tits. All will soon be undone. You stopped by for a hug and stayed for too many drinks. Put on the album you love. Neither of us stopped to think. And we did it. What we promised we'd wait for. And we did it. Our clothes are on the floor. And it's wasted. What we saved for too many years. And it's wasted like the ships that sink in tears. Our eyes connect and hearts don't beat. We both pause and sigh, wishing the other would leave. Makeshift matchbooks, misplaced memories, and carbon copies. Looking deep into those dreams to seek and find the knowledge, the life and style and truth. In the two worlds of three suns, we smile without knowing why. Secrets is currency. Catharsis by cantankerous catechumen. Alliteration obliteration. Saying, I'd rather be prepared than Harry. The king of hearts doesn't have a mustache, and ink on paper is dying to dry. Someone once wrote, quote, it's raining in Kirksville and the room is swinging, end quote. I had no advice to give, except that there's a difference between ships and boats and a mode for the road, where scratched eyes witness fake rapes where no one cries. I'm pretentious because I'm so fucking brilliant, and arrogant because I'm hella intelligent as fuck. Always listening, thinking and remembering, always paying attention to the smallest cracks in the biggest sky. Say it to me and I'll repeat it to you in 5 years. You won't even remember having said it. That's why I am magic. The pair anagram that isn't reap. Thumbnails slide across your wrists as my hands hold you down. You squirm and tear up, screaming behind your duct tape mouth. I don't know what you're saying, nor do I fucking care. Your wrists pour out the groovy as I split your hymen in two. This is a first for both of us. The difference being is I'll want to do it more, and you won't ever want to be touched again. Can you see the saliva overflowing from my mouth and dripping from my bottom lip? Can you see the black and white of my eyes through the black and blue of yours? I'll call you victim, but I'll be the one with my head held high. I've actually yet to decide whether to let you live or not. But for now, squint and clench your face as I paint it white. It was good to meet you, my darling. You have sweet dreams and a damn good night. When the numbers refuse to add, how many times can you kill one heart? If you scare someone half to death twice, wouldn't that scare them whole to death? What do you do on the days when there's no light and the dark is still asleep? Why do I like to run things into the ground and then struggle to rebuild? Why can I not just maintain it through the fade? What forever has may not have been. Things that never will just might be. Diurnal. 2 years ago is when you first mailed, I love you, as you sat bloodied in a ditch. And now after all this time, I can't remember when you said it last. 10/7/04. Will she call? Getting my hump on. And the motherfucker called me up and he was all like, what the fuck have you been telling her? And I said, I told her I'm the father and me and her mother decided to make her, but just because we don't live together doesn't mean we don't love her. And he said, I'm her father. I've raised her more than you. And I said to this motherfucker, you know what, motherfucker? When I was fucking that sweet pussy from behind, my hot loins pounds against hers, I don't remember you being there pushing my ass. And the motherfucker shut up real quick. Waste town. Everyone is day-to-day lives, lying night to night, lying with each other as well as two. They're about smoking and drinking. They're about fucking and sucking. They're all about the moment. They are all about right now. And I feel so bad for all of us. Armour in Avondale. The tear he cried fell into a puddle as he saw his face reflected. The sun and atmosphere sucked up that tear and formed a cloud. And that cloud carried that tear 15 miles to also cry and to drop that tear on the head of the girl it was meant for. Beater Bob. The only people who have heard me speak today were taking my food order. It always makes me wonder, do they know that the person whose order they're taking will one day be infamous? Then again, do I know that the person taking my order may be even greater? 111555. I don't hate women, but I am mean to them sometimes because I'm so afraid that they are going to hurt me. Rolling up the downward trail. Tresetta drank Merlot straight from the bottle, fingers and thumb gripping the tip of the bottle like giving a hand job, tilting her head way back, nose to the sky, guzzling, barely breathing. The bottle's bottom in the air, and like the hourglass it resembles, her time is running out. Dealing dope in the rail yard. Engine 6386, 10 p.m. 3 guys sitting, haven't moved in an hour. Train beside us moving. I'm faking my mind and eyes into believing it is us who is backing up. 2 remote control operators playing football games on cell phones. Me having just finished reading another book by Bukowski. I like being different. The Christmas I got batteries but no toys. I'm the V. Not the virgin or vigilante. Just the V. Not the violinist or ventriloquist. I'm merely the V in that poem by Silverstein. The V in love and the only one to show. That is how I see some friendships. I'm there, ready to battle, brawl, or ball, all in the name of love. But I, O, and E called in sick. I'm the most giving of givers and the friendliest of friends and the most loyal of the loyalists, and I shall be till the end. I'm just the V who puts more out and gets less back. I'm just the V, smiling, but wanting more friends. Nig bitch. In my younger days, I had no problem whipping out my piece and pissing in front of anyone, friends, girls, whatever. Now at 23, I have a shy bladder. I've had it since about 16. I can't piss if I think anyone can see or hear me, unless I know them really well. If you ever want to see my rod, all you have to do is ask. But if I have to piss, I get as shy as a 5-year-old girl. An emergency. Because sometimes the hurt won't leave, and friends say they care but don't. It's when you feel alone that you most likely are. So give in and end it. It's the easiest way. My dream to breathe without hesitation. Hanging on the side of a boxcar staring above. The southern part pink and the northern part blue. A perfect rainbow arching over Argentine Yard. A fainter one right next to it. The western sky was like fire that wouldn't burn. Sun melting through the clouds blanketed over the sky. All messy like a post-coitus bedsheet. There has to be something great out there to make 4 grown men stop and look at the sky. Your looks are kind of pretty when your face doesn't screw it up. Dark night comes, the leaves are dry. 3 are left to fall, and the morning breeze will take care of that, and the dew-covered grass will catch them. The damsel that saved the night. When I watch the rain fall, time slows down. Diamondback and Tuesday. Many years ago, Will and I were playing on the side of his house. There was a creek, a trail, and a weeping willow. Will had a skateboard and would lie down with his stomach on the board. He'd use his hands to pull his body up the hill of the trail, the asphalt sucking the oil from his fingers. I would entangle myself in the arms of the weeping willow, pretending to be trapped. Will would struggle to climb, as I would struggle to break free. Will would almost make it to the top and would cry for help. And as soon as he would begin to slip and fall towards the pretend abyss below, I would heroically break free and race to his aid. This was all pretend, but we'd do it over and over again. Just us two innocents pretending and having young kid fun. But I realize now that this was the day that I vowed, whether fake or real, I'd always be there to help my friends to safety. Made to look vintage. He always popped his knuckles and chewed his nails. He always had tiny bits of tobacco between his coffee-stained teeth. He always stroked his soul patch or muff scruffer, and he always shook his foot. He always borrowed $1 for lunch, and he always forgot the date. He always carried a pen in his left front pocket and a pocket watch in his front right. Its battery died long ago, along with his wife. He always wrote letters he forgot to send, and he always put $1 or $2 in Santa's bucket. He always had dirt under his fingernails and holes in his jeans. He always just got out of a long relationship, and he always wore a rubber. He always visited his mother on her birthday, and he always called her on his. He always visited his father's grave on his father's birthday and on the anniversary of his death. He always seemed to be thinking about something, and he was always there to listen. He always had a story to tell, and he always remembered every story you told him. He always had sweat on his temple, and he always blew on his hands when he was cold. He always had Miles Davis playing in his truck, and he always would smile at kids in passing cars. He always had an answer to any question, and he was always right. Young is foolish, and old is the fool. A half glass of wine sits by half a bottle of wine. There's a green plate with 3 homemade chocolate chip cookies on it. Jared is singing. Not my brother, Jared, but the singer from the honorary title. I'm wearing a light blue shirt for that band right now. It has a girl and a panda on it, and the panda has eaten another kid. Tonight I began and finished yet another book by Charles Bukowski. The captain is out to lunch and the sailors have taken over the ship. A person on darkpoetry.com once compared me to him, so it upped my interest, and I do see similarities in our work. But just so it's known, I never read his work or knew his style until this book, book 4. Up until now, after Ars Gratia Artis. So I'm not copying his style. There was a spastic black chihuahua gnawing at my pants and my toes earlier at the foot of the bed, next to my Kermit the Frog slippers. Good shit tonight. Coup de grace. Back in high school, I had a school friend, freshman and sophomore year. We had a lot of classes together and made the rounds of the halls every morning before school, talking about all of the mysteries of life. I talked to him more than my real friends. One time he asked me to stay the night, but I made up some excuse to not do so, when the truth is, I'm sure I would have felt awkward. Hanging with him outside of school, you know. He moved to Colorado after sophomore year, and I finished high school without him. Junior and senior year, I thought about him a lot, mainly because of Columbine. Graduation night, when posing for pictures after commencement, he walked up out of nowhere. We caught up real quick and exchanged numbers. A month or so later, he called and asked if I wanted to hang out, and I made up another excuse. I'm sorry. Road whore. Recently, I learned that a girl I fucked years ago, July 30th, 2002, lied to me. She said that before me, she'd only been with one guy, less than 4 times. I saw her at a concert a month ago, the Dillinger Escape Plan playing at Auditorium. I thought about her a lot in the 2 years since I saw her last. She blew me off and ignored me. Talking to her friend a few days later, her friend confessed that the other girl had a habit of lying to guys, telling them that she was either a virgin or that she hadn't been with many guys. I really liked this girl, this bitch, and I don't know why. I told her friend to tell her that I think she's a fucking lying cunt. I don't know if this story says more about the girl or about me. Piece of shit. Years ago, a close friend became friends with this fucker he worked with. A quote-unquote pimply wigger describes him best. One time I went to this guy's apartment with a few others, and this guy brought out his stash of weed. And not only was his toothless mom home, she was in the same room and smoked along with all the kids who smoked. I wasn't one of them. And now, 4 years later, I still don't know who I hate more, the mom or the wigger. 2 wine bottle. I've drank one of you every night for the past 3 nights. Will you be the enemy in my battle, in which this is the genesis? Moonlight Road. Beside a graceful pond in Lebo, 7012 idling on Main 2, watching the rippling water, dreaming of the girl I love, the one I don't know anymore. I don't know where she lives or where she works. I wonder if she smiles as much as she did when she was with me. Hot rail highballs west on Main 2, 60 miles per hour. My mind is keeping up with it. A beautiful letdown. Boy, can I ask you something? Girl, what? Boy, remember back when we were dating? Girl, stop, don't. Boy, no, it's not that. It's not about us, really. Girl, what then? Boy, it's been, 5 years since we broke up and 7 since we met? Girl, yeah? Boy, we've changed a lot, and I was just wondering if you recognize anything about me. If I've become a better man or what. Girl, well, honestly, I do still recognize what it was that made me love you. And I think you've matured and have become a wonderful man. Boy, thank you. Girl, what made you ask that? Your arrogance? Boy, well, I asked it to hopefully prompt you to ask me the same kind of question. Girl, do you recognize me? Long pause. Boy, no. I don't recognize anything about you that made me love you back then. I think you've changed for the worse, and I just wanted you to know that. Genital warts and pussy farts. The skinny frame of a once addicted Carol, dark Kerouac eyes, long scruffy Ginsberg beard, hand gripping a cigar like Bukowski, the shorn Burroughs hair, but a mind and life all his own. Globes and maps. The smoke from a cigar I smoked an hour ago still looms in the corner of this hotel room, like the memories of her love. Won't it ever just float away? Jesus is my nigga. I don't believe there's anything fake or wrong with having nice, leather-bound, gold-embossed editions of the 100 greatest works ever written. The only thing fake is never reading them. The only thing wrong is lying and saying you like them and that they really are great. A dick and an asshole, or someone's description of me. A while back, this guy I knew was dating this girl, the cousin of a friend of mine. He told me that one night he and her were out doing things and went to a Barnes & Noble in Gladstone. The girl was browsing the poetry and found a book that interested her. The book was Till the Streetlights Came On, the only copy ever known to sit on a bookstore shelf, on the same shelf as my favorite poet, Jim Carroll. Now it's around 6 months later. The girl has now read all of my books, although she's never bought any, but that's okay. She has now become the girl who thinks about me when I'm not there, and I think about her as I speed through towns I've never seen. The guy isn't gone, but he no longer has her, for she is sharing my bed now. It makes you wonder, what if she would have picked up Void of Course by Carol? Say anything. It was a long time ago, or that's at least how it feels now. October 29, 2002 at Altorion. Brand New and the Movie Life playing. You never heard Brand New, but fell in love with them. Then their second album, Deja Entendu, came out on your 17th birthday the following year. That night you bought us a hoodie to share that had the image of a lifetime, an image from a movie we would later watch, and that shares the same name with a band and a song by Good Charlotte. The song from that movie that goes with that image was the only song we ever danced to. That was 1.5 years ago. It's almost been a year since we ended, but I still love you more and more each day. I wish I still knew you. I hope that you still want to see me do great things. But now I just want you to know that wherever you go and whatever you do, I'll always be proud of you. And I shall always be outside your window with a boombox held to the sky. Just because I don't think I'm better than you doesn't mean I'm not. This is a poem about me looking in the mirror, and it's not one of those metaphorical ones with meaning and symbolism. It's just merely that I did in fact look in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. I'm not talking about anything deep-seated. It's not about my corrupted mind and the inevitable loss of childhood innocence. I just looked and saw my eyes, my beard, my ears, and my cowlick. And I just don't look anything like the photos of when I was a kid. That's all I'm saying. The beauty of hills that have one lone tree. Okay, seriously, this isn't one of those damn I want to banger things, and not one of those stupid fanboy things, because I'm not really a fan. Christina Aguilera is truly an amazing singer. Her voice sends orgasms through my skull. I don't know what that means, but I wrote it anyway. She's one of the prettiest women to ever grace this earth, and I'd love to know her, perhaps in the biblical sense. I never thought much about her, but from certain angles, her and Kelly have similar facial features, and my attraction to Christina didn't start until after knowing Kelly. So maybe that has something to do with it, because Kelly, too, is one of the prettiest women in the world. I don't know where I'm going with this, but damn, I want to bang Christina Aguilera, especially ever since she dyed her hair black. Okay, so I lied. This is what it is. A frustrated nobody writing about a gorgeous somebody. What else is there to do? Arafat is dead. I made a journey the other day to Wellington, Kansas and back. I went there on a train for work. I was gone for 33 hours. And halfway through the trip, I realized that it was the longest I've gone in years without listening to music, mainly my music. I heard some shit on radios here and there, but not the music that has kept me sane, music that I love. I missed the brilliance of Matt Embry and RX Bandits. I missed Andrew's ballads and Me and the Moon. I missed the modern classics of the epic Sigur Rós. I missed the nostalgia of Sunny Day Real Estate. I missed the brutal truth of Jonah and his one-line drawing. I missed abandoned pools and the format, celebrity, May. I missed Guernica, the quiet things that no one ever knows, globes and maps, Fluorescein. I miss Jeff Rickley's shrill, beautiful voice and tragic lyrics. I miss Sparta's ethereal melodies. I just missed them all, and I never want to go that long without them again. The era of Axl Rose and oral sex. To be a poet, you must always read the greats. To be a poet, you must always carry a pen and buy expensive journals to write in. To be a poet, you must always talk about poetry. To be a poet, you must pray to howl. To be a poet, you must wear sweaters with long sleeves. To be a poet, you must try and write like the writers you like. To be a poet, you must submit to every magazine you can. To be a poet, you must put being famous before doing good work. To be a poet, you must try and live poor and be an addict, become a drunk, to have something to write about. To be a poet, you must act morose and melancholy. To be a poet, you should use big words and show how smart you are. To be a poet, you must think you are better than everyone else. To be a poet, you must this. To be a poet, you must that. To be a poet, you must think about pleasing the reader and not yourself. To be a poet, you have to write for others. To be a poet, you must sacrifice everything for your art. To be a poet, you must wear thick-rimmed glasses. To be a poet, you must be well-versed in Kerouac, Ginsberg, Corso, Rimbaud, Lorca, Cummings. To be a poet, you should attend, if not host, writers' workshops. But honestly, to be a poet, you must rip this page out of this book, or do your best to go against everything written here. It won't make you a poet. It'll just make you, you. and that is enough. Molestation of the meat wad. If you ever want to try something that is quite a feat, try pissing on a moving train. The lavatory is the same size, if not smaller, than an airplane pisser. Except airplanes only toss you around during turbulence. Trains toss you around all the time. And the water in the blue bowl, that blue chemical shit, swirls around in the bowl like a wine connoisseur, swishes his Chardonnay in the goblet. And just so you know, you gotta hold your crank by the very tip. If you hold it at the base or mid-shaft, the rest will flop around like a lifeless body in a dryer, spraying piss all over your pants. Not that this happened to me or nothing. Painless, brainless, and veinless, as the blood runs everywhere. Sex and the Shitty is really quite shitty. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I've only seen it twice, 2 episodes back to back. A bunch of stereotypical white bitches in New York and their meaningless lives. Ironically created, written, and directed by men. It is what suburban women watch and wish their lives were like. Rich men, lawyers, and such, fine whining and dining, sex on a bed with roses. And while these suburban wenches sit on their asses and stare at HBO, their daughters are out there living a similar life. Except instead of wine in a 4-star hotel, it's cheap beer and a 2-door Grand Am. I'd tell you to pull your heads out of your asses, but obviously you like the taste of shit. In a 7-Eleven state of mind. I think it is time for a new video game called Terrorist, Mission New York, where you go around and are recruited by an Al-Qaeda cell. You are trained and learn to make bombs out of tofu and Swiss cheese. You enroll in plane flying lessons, hold bake sales, and throw Tupperware parties. Your main goal is to fly planes into skyscrapers and get extra points for every fireman you kill. And for bonus levels, you get to abduct Americans in foreign countries and videotape yourselves beheading them. Oh shit, I just realized a problem with this idea. Who's going to pay $50 to play this on Xbox when you can turn on your TV and see it for free? The Children of the Golden Dawn. The first autograph I can ever recall signing was when I was 18. It was my senior year, and my writer's workshop class held this thing called the Beatnik Cafe. It was actually on my last day of school, not counting finals and shit. I read The End of Innocence and The Asphalt Hourglass. A girl afterwards asked me to give her an autograph. She was the daughter of my 7th grade math teacher, and she lived across the street from Tim. I wrote down Brett Coker on a piece of paper in my scrawling uppercase, which I just began doing that year, I think. She said she wanted me to sign a real signature, in cursive and all, and I told her this is how I planned to sign all of my autographs. She said, okay. But a few years later, I began to sign everything brettalancoker, not only adding the middle name, but doing it in cursive. So in the end, she has the rarest autograph out there. I'm sorry I lied, but you're welcome. May you someday make $100 off of it on eBay. Tracy Turnblad is the queen of the hop. Want to know about my life in the last few months? All it has been is writing seldomly, working a lot with fucking trains, kissing Celia, and loving it so much. I've been addicted to the works of Charles Bukowski, and have listened over and over again to Sunny D. Real Estate's How It Feels to Be Something On, Nada Surf's Let Go, Sneaker Pimp's Splinter, and the Mars Volta's Deloused in the Comatorium. Not much going on, but I'm happy. As happy as I could be, I guess. I once owned a vial of mercury. You're a motherfucker. What? What? You said something? I said something? I think. Huh. I don't know. Me neither. I tell you. Yeah? You're a fucking cocksucker. What? What? You... What? Did I say something again? Fuck if I know. Sweet. You know what? No. Good. Shit. What? 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 Fuck, Danielle Harris is hot. Shit, I know. Shit, yeah. Oh. What? Want to know something? No. Can I tell you anyway? I won't remember. All the better. Sweet. I fucking love you, man. Groovy. So much that I'd take a fucking bullet for your ass. Even though you're fucking my ex. That sucks, doesn't it? Nah, I don't care. Coolio. I'd take a bullet for you, you jack off. I know. But you know what? Fuck you. Cool. But you know what? Fuck you. What? I never want you to take a bullet for me. God damn it, I fucking know that. And you know what? What? Fuck you. Coolio. I love you. I love you. Do you know why I love you? I don't give a fuck why. You're a pretentious bastard who treats people like shit. Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, but you know, you're fucking cool as goddamn fuck. Don't tell me that. I know. Asshole. Prick. We're gonna be friends forever, you know. Yeah, sweet, huh? No. Yeah, I know. What? 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 We're gonna die old, but together. It's a great world, huh? No. That's what I said. You didn't say that. Fuck you. You're too busy doing that to my ex. Really? I guess. I don't know. Bastard. Cool. See ya. When? When we're 70 and dying? I know. What? What? To ride above the fog. All there is, it seems, is the searching for love and the dreaming of dreams. Still I'm confused as to how this all will end. But think what you will of me, for I am not done yet. We are all hiding. We all postpone our lives with trivialities. We strive to attain that which will hold us back. I want what I want, and I always get it. And there is nothing wrong with that. I'm tired of feeling let down, either by myself or others. I'm tired of seeing people with more potential than me, spending every chance they get wasting their lives through inebriation. They talk about new jobs and about moving out. They talk about moving away and about a new life. But all it is mere talk. I'm tired of thinking that I've left people behind, but then again I've moved on, and if you can't keep up, then you'll only slow me down. Someday I will escape this all. And if you deserve it, I may just go out of my way to remember your names. Final glimpses. I'll be the raindrops that wash your tears away. If you'll be the smile that warms my heart for one more lonely day. Doing the dick dog. A back alley philosopher once told me, quote, to have me give a damn about something, that something has to meet one out of 4 criteria, end quote. I just knew this would be priceless information. He continued, if I can fuck it, eat it, use a wrench on it, or make $1 off of it, hell, he said, my wife fits 2 of those. And you wouldn't believe the elation I felt, knowing his wife didn't fit all 4. Burning bridges bright. We'll never see them leave. We'll never say goodbye to those thoughts that hurt so much. Don't hate the players, hate the game. Saying I'm sorry is one of the hardest things for a man to do, and I don't know why that is. So if you find a guy who says I'm sorry, then he is a man worthy of your love. Just beware of the one who says it way too much. Me dong have. Huge is big, yes? In the past month, I've made several trips to southwest Kansas, Wellington, Arkansas City, and Newton, on average about 200 miles away. That's the furthest I've gone since my late-night cruise to St. Louis. Riding the rails as I was, I passed through El Dorado, and every time I flashed back to 4 years ago, or maybe it was 3, my parents dragged my brother and I to El Dorado to help my grandmother move and a bunch of pack rat as shit from her house there to her house in Topeka. I rode down to my dad's beer van, the one he drove for work. My brother followed behind in our now deceased gold truck. I had a CD player with me and headphones on, and listened to both discs of Pink Floyd's The Wall. Staring out the window at those Kansas fields made me think about city expansion and growth. How one day large cities and suburbs of that city will slowly expand further and further out. All of the rich folks trying to get away from the shit, piss, and funk they left piled up in the city, leaving it for poor blacks and Mexicans to fight over. There's so much space left, there really is. Fields of wheat, corn, trees, and alfalfa. So much space for all of us. It's sad to think that one day we will grow so much that you won't know where one city ends and another begins. Cornfields become condos. Grazing grounds become ball fields. We'll devour all there is, and we'll forget what nature was. Try Maxian from Phalon, or see you later, navigator. My poetry isn't what it used to be. I don't even know if you'd consider it poetry as much as perhaps it could just be stories written in poem form. Most of my pieces in my previous books detailed events that are current, or rather, were current at the time the event occurred. One might call them current events, like those fucking reports we had to do in elementary school. I can't understand what it is, but right now, recently, and right now, and lately I've just wanted to tell stories of the past. Visit those places and memories, long forgotten and or hidden in the darkest and oldest parts of my Gulliver. Maybe I'll uncover an occurrence in me past. Yes, me past, not my past. Some instances from long ago, some happenings from back in the day, that may well be a clue, or perhaps the answer, to some riddle or question of the present, the current. I don't know. I do know that it's 1:33 in the A&M. I'm on BNSF 2335, which is the second unit behind BNSF 4276. I'm on a transfer from Argentine to the NS yard, which is about 10 miles away. I've been on duty since 11 p.m., or 2300. I've been sitting here on this unit alone for over an hour. It'll take us until 11 a.m. to get to the NS yard, and truthfully, we may not make it back before we get off at 11 a.m., which is when we go dead on the law. Yep. Everything comes from something, and it all makes sense. The moon is creamy, the stars twinkle, and all the beautiful things in the world. Can I see your tits now? We met at school in 7th grade. I met her friends at a Shawnee Mission West football game. I dated her friend Lisa at first for a few months or weeks. It was middle school, so it wasn't very serious. Then I dated this girl. I don't remember how long. In 8th grade, we weren't still dating, but we dated again. I don't remember if it was the summer after 8th or after 7th, but we didn't have school, and my brother drove me to her house in his black 4-door Taurus, of which I have many stories to tell. At her house, it was just me, her, and 2 of her friends, Annie and another girl. I can't remember if it was Lisa or a girl named Melissa. The girls kept playing Aerosmith's Big Ones, which just came out around that time, and I kept putting on Warren G's Regulate the G-Funk era. That was during my wannabe gangsta phase that lasted way too long. At one point during the day, the girl's younger brother came home, and I had to hide in the garage for a while. But it was worth it, for soon, her and I were alone in her basement. It was furnished and had several couches, a perfect makeout room. This was the first real makeout session, not counting childhood experimentation with neighbor girls. The girl had on overalls. I had the top pulled down and her tits plopped out. I gave them a good licking, or my best attempt at a good licking. I pulled my piece out and she touched it a little, but wasn't comfortable putting me in her mouth. It was a good time. Upon leaving, I remember her opening the front door and then the screen door. I came up behind her and wrapped my arms around her, and I slid my hands down the front of her overalls, my hands and fingers sliding beneath her panties. "Oh, pubes," I said, as my digits parted the hairs and then her slick fold. She smiled at me with a surprised look on her face. We kissed, and then I walked my gangsta wannabe ass all the way home, smelling my finger from time to time. The first scent is something that would soon control me. Postscript. This girl and I would end up dating the fall of 1996, our freshman year. I know I didn't love her, but I cared about her in some way. I never took her to a movie or spent time with her outside of school. I didn't have a job or money, and didn't want my parents to have to haul us around. Her and I talked on the phone a lot, me telling her how bad I wanted to do stuff to her, and her telling me she was up for anything. But in school, when I'd see her in passing period, I was afraid to kiss her when others were around. She wrote me a letter once. Actually, she wrote me several letters, but in one of them she wrote, quote, "I want you to fuck me by January 1st, end quote. This never happened. We broke up for whatever reason, and she ended up dating and losing it to a guy 1 year older. They were together for a while. We We never really talked after that. Senior year, we had seminar together and chatted once or twice, but that was that. For some reason, in the summer 2002, I wrote her a letter and hand-delivered it to her house. In this letter, I apologized for my childish behavior years before and told her all of the things I should have told her but was too naive and scared to say. I didn't leave a return address or my phone number. I wasn't wanting to make a jump back into her life. I just wanted to end her part in the story of my life. I saw her one day the following fall in the hallways of JUCO when I made an attempt to take some courses. When she saw me, we just smiled at each other, and I saw the surprise and warmth in her eyes that I saw the day I put my finger in her. This was the last time I ever saw her. This was 2 years ago, and I'm still happy to have known her. You're beautiful, Aaron. See ya, or 30 by 30. Back sometime in the earlier mid-90s, during a family reunion for my mother's side, the Kings, I was off by myself for a while. It was held at a shelter house at Tuttle Creek in Manhattan, Kansas. I was wading through a creek that I had played in many times. I ventured further than ever and found a spot in the creek that formed a tiny lagoon. The creek water was literally emerald, like quarry water. It was so enchanting. I was wearing jean shorts and an old pair of high-top Chucks, and I walked around in the emerald water. I climbed the hill next to the lagoon and looked for things to throw. There were many tree limbs and stumps that had been submerged in water for so long and then dried that they were as soft as styrofoam. I could pick up huge logs, punch them with my fist, and they'd splinter and explode into thousands of pieces. I felt like a Superman. I began to punch and kick every soft limb and stump I could, throwing rocks and dirt clumps into the water and ripping down branches. I found an old car battery and tossed it down the hill and landed in the water. After an hour and much destruction, I stopped and looked around. The bushes were all trampled. Splintered wood was everywhere. There was dirt, wood, a car battery, and pop bottles, back when they were glass, not plastic, in the now dark brown water. Walking away, I was so ashamed of what I'd done. I never knew I had that much power to destroy something so pristine, and I never want to do it again. Skeet skeet. It was long ago when I first heard the sounds of a girl moaning from my brother boning her in his room. It made me feel weird and kind of disgusted, embarrassed, envious at the time because either I hadn't done it yet or wasn't currently. Time went by and I was no longer bothered by the boning moaning. I was just afraid for him that my parents would hear. One night in particular, he was shagging this broad and it was shaking my parents' bedroom door. I had to call him on his cell phone and tell him to downshift his shafting. Right now, I can hear it, which is why this is in my mind. I don't spend my time pondering orgasmic pounding unless it's my own. But nowadays it doesn't bother me, still. Nor do I worry about my parents. My dad lives 10 miles away, and I think my mom could care less. Whatever. Skyline Drive and Skyline Drive. She asked, "Yeah, why do you like me?" He said, "You make me feel warm." She said, "I can be pretty cold." He said, "That's when I warm you." And then she had a good cry. Part 4. Take the keys, turn them, grab the wheel, hit the gas. The disease is in my cells and liquor in my veins. I trust you to get us home safe. Or aphasia. But your smile lets me know that tomorrow the sun will still rise. The music's over, turn out the lights. Basement, glow stars, beanbags, incense. Footsteps from upstairs, doorknob turning, patience. It wasn't until after you left that I realized you spoke in lyrics, and all those lines you said that meant so much to me were stolen. Down like Danzig. This poem is being brought to you with 90% less carbs than our scratch artists. It is Atkins approved, and Oprah will soon give it away to her entire audience. This is the part where we have a drum solo. And in the background, John McCrae is heard going, "Oh yeah, all right. I'm 2 times out and I need to sleep." And John McCrae goes, "Yeah." Do sheep count people to sleep? Just a few minutes ago at the gas station, a white fuck with a black shirt, cut off sleeves, a foreign car lowered and tricked out, a white chick with white pants. I'm sure she forgets to not wear at certain times of the month. The guy cusses up a storm trying to show how badass he is. The chick giggles and laughs at how badass and cute he is. I couldn't help but want to walk over and tell the guy, I'm sorry that you think you are worth the air you breathe. And I felt like telling her, I'm sorry you think he loves you, and sorry that you think this is love. What I've done, and what I have to do now. We all make mistakes at some point, but it's what we do to fix those mistakes that dictate how good we really are. Call Jackie. She never puts the cap to the toothpaste on tightly. She never turns the shower faucet back so it sprays his head when he goes to run a bath. These things make him smile when she's not there. Somewhere in Utah. The child wondered why Mommy was still asleep at 5 p.m. when she was usually up by noon. He opened the bedroom door a crack and snuck a peek. Still asleep. He entered. The floorboards creaked. Scared she'd wake, see him, then hit him. She was lying there, mouth agape, eyes open. An empty bottle of whiskey on the end table next to an empty bottle of pills. And the child couldn't help but think, I'm free. Sweep the leg, Johnny. Or, 80s badass William Zabka, we miss you. We were there, Jared and I, and my dad's friends' kids, Jeremy and Jessica. We were at the farm, sometime in the early 90s. We were on the easternmost part of the land, on top of this hill looking east. The lines of trees at the foot of the hill formed the creek's shield. There was one tree whose leaves were turning yellow in some places. The trees next to it were still green. The leaves formed a large figure. It looked like the outline of Mario from Super Mario Bros. 3, after he had used the leaf and grew ears and a tail. We sat watching this, thinking it was amazing. Then we all ran down the hill as fast as we could. Every 20 feet or so we would leap into the air and we would fly for mere seconds. It made us feel invincible. And that's all we needed back then. That's all we needed. From the stars you'll learn to follow. I can't think of too many pleasurable situations that could even come close to making love to Kelly. Being alone with her in her basement bedroom, the furnace going, something beeping all the time. Brand new, the used, Armor for Sleep, the starting line, Good Charlotte or something corporate playing. Her bed really wasn't big enough for both of us, and it would sag in the middle, making a lot of positions hard to do, but damn, we were so good. I'd lick every inch of skin she had, and she would moan so loud. Her black sheets with white spots, markings from past nights. One night we finished, or were taking a break at least, and we were both still naked, and we wrapped ourselves in her comforter, and we went over and watched her snake Igor in his cage, just lying there totally at peace, soaking up the heat from the light. Just her and I alone, not thinking about the world outside the foot of concrete. That were her walls, not my walls. My wall was her blanket, and my bed her arms. Her eyes the warmth, her smile the light. And I still strive for more. 2483750. In the fall of 2002, I made an attempt to take some classes at JCCC. I had this intro to writing class, and one of our projects had to be written completely in class, and we spent 3 days in the computer lab. The first day we were in there, I sat down and typed From Clockwork to Outsider in 4 minutes. I printed it and got up to get to the printout, and some guy asked, "Are you done already?" I said, "Yeah." He hadn't even written one sentence. I turned it in, and the teacher told me I could go home and that I didn't have to come Monday since I didn't need to use the lab anymore. I didn't finish that class and only did a few projects, but I got what I wanted. Some fuel for my sputtering ego. Dead on the Law. I have this vision, this desire in me, a deep down want to drive to this intersection and stop in the middle of it, blocking the traffic. Step out of my truck and flex my muscles and scream and yell and have this shockwave emerge from my heart to flip over cars, destroy the traffic lights, rip up the asphalt like a rug, and knock the birds from the clouds. Instead, I'm home, tugging away at my cock. It's as close as I'll ever be. Penny-glued porches on Canyon Lake. Tim and Will started smoking weed when we were 16. We'd be down in Will's basement, and the two of them would slip away into Will's room alone, leaving Kirk and I there watching Mr. Show or some crap on HBO. One night we all went for a walk on this trail between my house and his. Kirk and I both sporting our black leather trench coats. Pre-Columbine, so there wasn't a stigma yet. Will didn't want Kirk and I to feel left out, so he handed us cigars. This was my first ever. Maybe Kirk's first too. Will and Tim smoked out of a pipe that Will made from various fittings he bought from Ace Hardware. It was a cold night, but the moon was out, and so we had light to see as we walked. We ended up at a park between our elementary school, Christian McAuliffe, and the pool at Astra. We stood huddled together on this playground smoking. We seemed to be taking a stand, making a point. We were defiling our old stomping grounds with this new thing that would bring us from the then into the now. We were defining how our lives would be from then on, laying it all on the line, letting the world know nothing was going to stop us. And since then, we've slowed a bit, but we're still making ground. 40 Winks in Listowel Park. The summer after senior year, summer 2000, I had to go to 6 weeks of summer school. 3 weeks per semester I flunked, but in this case it was English, which I got kicked out of. You can miss 2 days out of each 3-week half, and I always made sure I filled my quota. I'd have to be up at 6 a.m. and be at school by 7 a.m. My mom wouldn't go to work until 7:45, so I'd drive to this park, halfway between here and there, and I'd park my truck and lie there, listening to music for over an hour. I don't know why I didn't go. I just wanted to be alone. I thanked that park for being there to hold me. Celerity. I used to have this desk when I was a kid, and for a while its right side would be at the foot of my bed, lined up against the wall. Being right-handed, I would leave glasses of water on the right side of the desk, next to my alarm clock, which I still have and works perfectly. One morning my parents found me asleep on top of my desk, and the glass of water was untouched. Jesus would be impressed. To beyond a filion. The day I lost my virginity, miles away, a young girl was turning 12. Little did either of us know that she would become my world. Fucking with the bull might make you horny. Hand me a knife and your throat all slit. Toss me a trench coat and an MP5 and I'll cleanse your school. Give me some whiskey and I'll fuck your girlfriend. Some wine and I'll fuck your wife. Make me a bomb and I'll take out a local Starbucks. Present me with a pen and I'll destroy you all with one stroke. There's a pool of cum in her belly button. She tells me I'm incredible with my hands. That I eat pussy better than anyone and that I fuck like a porn star, except with feeling. I knew this already. And now she does too. Only 50 million more to go. A woman like Natalie. I saw her at a concert, Steel Train in the Format, sometime in July of 2004 at El Torreon. Damn, she was incredible. Everything about her, perfect. I was sitting in the back on a couch watching some guy a few seats down from me. He had her attention and she had mine. She ended up sitting on the same couch I was sitting on, and I just watched her and dreamed what it would be like to be the one she shared a blanket with. Her body was perfect. Ass, legs, chest, eyes like a calm pond, hair like flowing grass. So perfect. Towards the end of the night, we were both back by the merch booth, and I tapped her on the shoulder and we stepped to the side. I said, "I just wanted to tell you that I think you're amazingly gorgeous." She said thanks, and I walked away. However, when I leaned in to whisper in her ear, I noticed a large, white-tipped pimple on her shoulder. I liked this imperfection, for she became real, and not an illusion like so many others. Her address was 911. Her eyes were a waste, so sexy, but behind those eyes she was vacant. She had no personality, just long legs, longer hair, and pierced nipples. The last time I saw her, I left hating her. The second to last time I saw her, I was happy and shocked. I felt bad telling her that I was with someone. When we said goodbye and hugged, she held me longer than what felt appropriate. The third to last time was at her house, on a porch swing. Not on her porch, but in her front yard. The time before that was at Eric's, with Monopoly, Elliott Smith, and the rain. This was a week after the first and only time we fucked. She was the first girl to ever give me roadhead. She came and went in my life in less than 3 months. This was 2.5 years ago, and I'm still writing about her, because I still think about her. She was pivotal because being with her let me know that I was over Marilyn and ready to love again. But luckily I didn't waste my love on this bitch. I gave my love with pride to a girl with stars on her hand. In the end now, I don't have either, but I only miss one of them. Her address should have let me know she'd be trouble. Alliterations and alibis, or onomatopoeia all over you. The dead still visit me. Emily Dickinson, Ludwig von Beethoven, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, Charles Bukowski, Elliott Smith, Anthony Burgess, the Federicos, Fellini, and Garcia Lorca, Salvador Dali, M.C. Escher, Claude Monet, Vincent van Gogh, Ian Curtis, Stanley Kubrick, Francois Truffaut, and William Burroughs. Although gone, I still read their books, watch their films, and hear their music. It proves to me that there is life after death, for all of these people are still living inside me, and that has to mean something. Jeffrey Eugenides, Chuck Palahniuk, Hubert Selby Jr., Henry Rollins, Jim Carroll, Timothy Lee Bonnet Jr., Franklin K.R. Klein, John Harnish. Some greats that are still with us, and after they're gone, I'll carry them with me as well. And when I'm gone, will any of you carry me? Brought to you in part by a man with no heart. 6 a.m. Been up since 11 p.m. last night, waiting for the phone to ring for me to go to work. Sigur Rós' Untitled album is playing, track 6. I'm writing by the light from a bulb that has yet to burn out since the fall of 2000. I'm waiting for the end of all things, for a purpose, a reason, for love and friendship. Waiting for the day I can stop and breathe. Look around and see that I'm caught up, and I've done/created all I could ever want. It won't ever come though. 6655321, or slice it off like the nipple from a whore. Alex DeLarge got the Ludovico treatment, injected and strapped down, forced to video some films. McMurphy got the saw to his head and then a pillow to the face. Civil War soldiers were given shots of whiskey and a bullet to bite before their limbs came off. Vietnam vets got maggots placed in their wounds and wrapped up with gauze, so the maggots would eat the dead flesh, and the soldiers could feel them inside. When will I get my fix to this pain and insanity? Ne plus ultra. The condemned walked handcuffed through the town square, toward the gallows, and had a smile on his face. He ascended the stairs and was put into place. The noose around his neck barely fit over his large fucking smirk. An onlooker yelled, "What is your child-raping ass smiling about?" And the condemned said, "In a few moments I will be the envy of every man for miles, for I will be the most well-hung fucker in all the land." And then the floor fell from beneath him. It's always the confident ones who have their eyes in the clouds that fall into the holes the weak peons leave. 1620749. You all are the grand ocean liner, 5 miles long and 2 miles wide. You are all the great ocean liner, the one a minuscule block of ice can stop. And I am the tiny tugboat that will pull you to safety. And none of you will say thank you or even look down to acknowledge that I'm there. Slowly she pulls away. Your naked body was my canvas on which I painted the night sky. The half moon of stars around your left nipple was my smile. But you let those stars and my smile die. I know I could never write you a Constantine, or so it seems to me. That in my land of broken dreams, you were once all I'd ever need. No need to worry about loyalty when you ain't got no fucking friends. On a frat house porch in Lawrence, Kansas, a friend told me face to face, "Brett, I've come to realize I'm too big of a drunk to be able to do anything with my life." He is 22 years old. Thinking about it now reminds me of when we were all 16. A few of us began experimenting with drugs and alcohol. I've never done drugs and never plan to. I don't like drugs, never have. But this was their decision to make, so I let them do it. I told them that I won't look down on them or judge them or anything. But I also told them that if I see them get out of control, I'll beat their fucking ass. So it's 7 years later, and 2 of my closest friends are full-blown alcoholics. And I'm here writing about it instead of beating their fucking asses. This time, we have all failed, my brothers. Life is a dick. When it gets hard, fuck it. 8 Bibles sit on my bookshelf. The Cure's Disintegration plays, The Same Deep Water as You. The Bibles are taken from shitty motels. One from Pasadena, California. One from North Kansas City, Missouri, the last time I ever kissed Kelly. And the rest are from road training trips to western Kansas. I see a shelf of Bukowski books. I see a shelf of stuffed animals, all gifts from women. There's a shelf of handwritten originals of my books and journals, and a shelf of those books in published form. I have a plastic trunk full of mementos and keepsakes and DVD porn. I have frog slippers on my feet. It's 10:14 a.m., and I'm not just writing that time because 10:14 is my birthday, like I do sometimes in my screenplays. Oh fuck, one of my slippers fell off. It really is 10:14 a.m., and I finished a half bottle of wine and had some rum. Pictures surround me. Celia, Ainsley, Amber, Tim Wilkirk, Brandy, Danielle Harris, autographed. Me, Eric. A poster with Jean-Pierre Léaud, Jacqueline Bisset, and the man Francois Truffaut. A framed Entertainment Weekly with Brandon Lee on the cover. I don't know why I'm writing this. This book sucks. Ars Gratia Artis is so much better. I've written 2 books of poetry in 15 months. At the rate I was going last May when I began this book, I thought I'd have it done in a few months, but I was wrong. It'll end soon enough, though. Everything does. A Cinnamon Bear. I saw you for the first time in June of 2001. We made out in August of 2001 in that pool parking lot as it rained outside. You tossed me off with your kung fu grip, and I came all over my truck door. I took your virginity on September 1st, 2001. It'd be almost a year later, September 13th, 2002, when I realized I love you. And on September 21st, you told me the same, as you sat in that ditch with your head split open. You became my girlfriend on October 8th, 2002, and I said, "You're not my girlfriend anymore," on November 30th, 2003. I didn't mean to say it. I last made love to you on January 10th, 2004, and kissed you last on February 15th, 2004. You killed my heart in April, and I saw you for the last time in June. I heard your voice for the last time on my birthday last October. It's January 2005, and an album is playing that you told me about back in 2001. The best moment I can remember in the years I've known you is when you picked me up at the airport when I returned from California. Someday you'll regret letting me go, like I have regretted every day spent without you. May all your days be gold, my child, 'cause it's not a wonderful life. My adorable Brett, I just read a letter you wrote me almost 2 years ago, February 11th, 2003. It used to make me cry because it made me love you so much more. Now it just makes me cry. I always argue with myself whether you deserve these tears that are falling from my face. I vowed a long time ago to never cry over you again, and like much else in my life, I've failed. Sadly, but thankfully, I know that deep inside you still deserve these tears. However, fuck you, bitch. You don't hear skis much anymore. The world is waking up. Well, Kansas City is. And I am alone in the rail yard, 10th Street in KC. The boots on my feet are on the gravel. The chill in the air is in my skin. Just boxcars, piggybacks, auto racks, rails, switches, and derails. A lantern in my hand shows the light in my future. Nessius, or back when nice meant ignorant. I cannot and will not ever respect a man or boy who says girls don't fart, as if there is some sort of honor in this lie, as if they are respecting the girls more, as if this lie pontificated will get him into more beds. Girls piss, girls shit, girls bleed, girls have discharges out of their vaginas. Pus leaks from their scabs, sweat from their armpits, and snot from their noses. Any guy who will ever say girls don't shit will have a rude awakening when he moves in with one. Those days when she has food poisoning and pukes all day. When she gets diarrhea and leaves droplets on the toilet seat. When she is careless, forgets to flush and leaves a floater. Especially when she pulls off those cotton panties and to see some stains. Yellow, brown, or blood red. And then you get a whiff of that seafood pooty. They too have oily faces, backs, and hair. They'll get dandruff and pimples. Big old ones that squeeze out their white cream. Yeah, girls don't fart. Really? I don't respect men who think it is chivalrous or honorable to believe that women are above natural body functions. In all seriousness, though, you're missing out. They do all of this. And the sooner you realize this and visualize it or see it for real, once you see them at their absolute worst, their sexiest best will be that much sexier and even more bestest. And remember, you're no prize yourself. The taste of the bittersweet. He ran his finger under his eye and gathered up a tear, then rubbed it across her lips. She ran her finger under her eye and gathered up her tear to be placed on his lips. Then, as new tears fell, they kissed each other's pain. Under the light of truth, you won't stand up to scrutiny. Enough of this weepy emo game. The route to fame is not lined with gold, as once thought and said. My head is filled with antiquated stories and useless memories. Of all those gone, of all those who've left, of all those who no longer care for me, nor I for them. The road often splits. Some tracks are dark and ominous. Others lead to the nowhere of self-discovery and annals of repressed dreams. No one wants me anymore. They don't know what I am and never liked who I was. I'm going to leave you all behind because you never believed. My love for you was concocted, as I am the deceiver, and you the deceived. Application of derision against the suicidal embers of yore, or out to lunch when the breakdown came. To be smarter is something I've always wanted and always feigned. Even as a child, I knew I had potential, but was jealous of the kids who did better than me and knew more than me. But for them, it came easily and naturally. They grasped ideas and instructions better than I. I am only good if you tell me what to do. Show me the maps and I'll get there. But writing those maps and planning the trip strains my head. I'm good at creation, screenplays and poems, but I do it in my own fashion, my own personal style. I have no boundaries, therefore it is easy. If you give me limitations, I will fail. I don't know what a verb is, or an adverb. I have no clue what a past participle is, or anything about sentence structure. I want to be able to speak as many languages as possible. French, Spanish, German, Russian, and yes, especially Latin. I want to know big words, or rarely used words, like torpor, quotidian, precocious, prodigious, and what have you. I want to know all of them, because I hate not being able to use all of the tools there are. And in my instance, these tools are my weapons. I am a shitty poet. All I have are words, and I'm rapidly running out. I've always acted smarter than I was, but unlike a lot of jagoffs, I admit my stupidity. Good thing I'm so fucking handsome. Baby goat. Your face is formed by vapors. I'm so scared to breathe, since I don't want to blow you away. P.S. We deserved another chance. I haven't swam in 5 years. Just got home from work. It's 3:38 a.m. I went to work at 3:30 p.m. Ate some homemade chicken noodles with some peas, dumplings, and turkey thrown in. I was tired all day at work. It was cold again. The other day, my girlfriend and I stopped by her work to get her last check. She finally quit that shithole. Her check was around $280 for 2 weeks. I just made $300 in less than 11 hours. Changing jobs, quitting Regal and joining the BNSF was one of the best decisions I've ever made and probably the only one. All day today, Connor Oberst has been in my head. After reading an article about him in a supposed rock magazine, Rolling Stone. They've never mentioned or reviewed the RX Bandits. I also listened to Connor's, rather, Bright Eyes' Lifted, or The Story is in the Soil, Keep Your Ear to the Ground. I first heard Connor around 2.5 years ago and didn't like his sound. Things change. I can't help but feel like a loser, for I've fooled people all my life that I was nice, that I was sweet. I've fooled them into thinking I'm a good poet. Then again, I think I've just been fooling myself. Dropping the P. How it works is this. Usually halfway through writing each book is when I decide on the title. And then soon after I visualize the end and find the theme. So I begin to craft an ending piece. Most written months before the book is done, or at least started months before the book is done. So most of the time these final pieces are not chronologically correct, but I meant for them to be at the end. Understanding Thursday's 1549, Ars Gratia Artis' Obliquy. This time around, it will be The Things We Can Do. I wrote a majority of it 2 months back. However, I think it's weak and don't really like it, but I don't know what to do. It also seemed to me that the end of my books all start to be self-reflective. I write about the fear of not being able to do it again. I write about not pleasing myself. I write about the feeling of letting you down. Well, I'll tell you this. This book, right here, right now, will not be my last. But it will be the last I put out for anybody to read, since nobody has given a fuck about my work. Why spend my whole load now? I'll just keep writing in private, and when, if I ever have a following, then I'll unleash the new motherfuckers. Still, I feel bad, for this book hasn't lived up to my expectations. I won't promise that my next will be better, but just that there someday will be a next. Sebastian, a young man's role model, or Uncharted Pootie. Attention! Just so it is well known, there will be a day when I walk by you in the streets and refuse to take your calls, when spending time with you has no precedence over jerking off. I will someday act like I don't know you and can't place your face. Just so you know, for those of you whom I snub and cut off, it doesn't mean that I don't like you anymore. It merely means that I never did. Redemption now. My eyes burn. They are thirsty for sleep. The fan blades turn, cooling my tired head. Viedra Velta la Terraza plays, or Good Weather for Airstrikes, by Sigur Rós on their album Agitas Bergin. I could have been a rock star. I could have been a composer. I could have been a painter. And instead, I'm a fake. A fake who is running out of false words to describe. Is this hell? No. But you can see it from here. I love the look of Kansas City. I love Kansas and Kansas City, especially Lenexa. Most of it is shit and trashy, but there's still an overpowering glow that fills me with pride. I've been to many large cities. LA didn't impress me, and I have no plans to go to New York. Topeka is our capital, but there's something about it that I don't like. A friend once said, Topeka always feels gray, even on bright sunny days. It's true. If you go there, everyone seems dead. As if they're dead and no one has told them, so they simply walk around lifeless. Downtown Kansas City, Casey Mo, not Casey K, is such a sight. There's only a dozen skyscrapers that look magnificent from miles away, but up close, downtown is full of run-down buildings and stockpiled transients. It's just how Casey sits on top of this hill, almost a plateau, with floodplains and rivers and rail yards all around. Casey just sits there on top of this pile of trash and sleaze. We don't have much to offer, except barbecue sauce, but still, that cityscape blows me away. The brunette girl in that golden summer. I have so much more to say, many more stories to tell. It's just that it takes time for them to come out. I still have a few more years until I die, although I've always thought since I was 10 that I'd be dead at 24. I've always talked about things that I failed at, and things left incomplete. Well, here's another tale. It was the stupendous summer of 1997, when I would go camping with my parents every weekend. Pomona, Melbourne, Milford, Tuttle Creek, and Perry, so on and so forth. And there was this girl. I met her years before when we were both children. Now we were 13 and 15. I was 15. She was so pretty. It took some time, but it finally came out that we liked each other. She had this weird fetish of sniffing my beach towel, saying it smelled like me. I just wanted to kiss her. It was back when I was a little more pure, and my sexual desires a little bit simpler. One night I was pushing her on a swing, and every time I went to push, I'd aim my hands lower, trying to touch her tiny little butt. The summer went on and we saw each other more. The weekdays would go by without seeing each other, then a new weekend would spring up and we'd be together. I'd always feel awkward that first night, but by Sunday we were completely comfortable again. We played horseshoes at Milford once, on the 4th of July, and I told her that whoever wins gets to do whatever they want to the loser. I won, but nothing happened. I just wanted to kiss her. The summer of 97 ended, and a year later in 98 I saw her once more. I told her I'd wait for her, but by the time I saw her again, I was no longer a virgin. I didn't see her again until her graduation in May of 2002, and I promised that I'd come see her that summer. It's January 2005, and I've yet to fulfill that promise. She's been dating a guy for many years, and she's now engaged. My love for her was the most pure that I've ever felt. I probably won't see her again until her wedding day. I still dream of those days when we were 13 and 15. And now at 23, I'm So glad we never kissed. The things we can do. It's been 8 years now since I began to write. And as the years go by, I become more dead, more cynical, more pessimistic, and I find it gets harder and harder to want to do more in life. It's hard to pick up my pen. It's hard to hit these keys. It's hard to sit down and want to create. I've seen a lot of things in my life, no more and no less than anyone else. I know about 3 boys, now men, sitting in a garage on lawn chairs, the TV off and radio on, knowing it will never be the same. Earlier, we'd watched the towers crumble via the TV screen, which is the only reality any of us know anymore. I know where I was when I heard Brandon Lee died, and Stanley Kubrick, and George C. Scott, and Elliott Smith. I knew a girl who'd been in my home several times, calling my house at all hours of the night saying she was going to kill herself. Years later, her body was found beaten, bound by a chain, floating in Miami County Lake. I knew a girl who was fucked by 2 guys I knew behind a garbage dumpster next to Ad Astra Pool. Years later, I saw her working a register at Kmart, and she couldn't look me in the eyes, although I wanted to tell her I don't think bad of her. I watched the wall fall and OJ take his ride, and the Branch Davidians burn for no reason, and I've watched as Michael Jackson has slowly gone insane. I saw those kids covered in blood, running from their cafeteria as the news vultures circled above. I've seen those beautiful girls from my high school days destroyed by alcohol and drugs, and I've seen those popular high school guys destroyed by those women. I know about the abortions and the 15-year-olds' miscarriages. I know what it is like to look in the eyes of someone whom you've loved for years and who has been your friend, and you no longer recognize anything about them. I've always seen the darkest things. I've always seen the pain. I've always seen. I've never enjoyed it, but also I never wanted to stop. When I look around and see this destruction, it makes me want to do something about it. Too many people live day to day looking the other way. They don't want to see the scum and the horror. They just want their television, their beer, and the occasional fuck. I've always known that I was cursed, with looking too deep into those things around me, seeing too much meaning or seeing meaning in something that has none. I look at children, all I can see is what they one day will grow up to be. I look at myself and my friends now, and it hurts to remember we weren't always like this. But through all of this shit, all of the darkness in my head, I still smile, and I still have my moments where I shine. Because being cursed is also a blessing. Seeing so much evil also gives me the pleasure of seeing the good in the tiniest of things. The feeling of a kiss on your eyelids. The feel of your lover's cold ass rubbing against your stomach as you sleep. The rush of emotion when someone tells you they love you. The scent of women on your pillowcase. The feeling of finishing a project and being able to type the end. The look in your brother's eyes that tells you he is amazed by you. The wetness from a kiss from 10 years ago that still lingers on your lips. Those midnight drives. Those songs that give you goosebumps. The hugs that take your breath away. The hugs that almost knock you over. Those wide smiles that make your eyes squint. The way she wiggles when she walks. The way she runs her fingers over your back. Those pictures of friends that capture the moment and the feel of back in the day. The feel of not wanting to sleep. The feel of not wanting to wake. So much. It's been so long. I've been at this for so many years. I'm still lost and striving to be found, but fuck, I'll never stop. My dad asked me, after reading my earlier books, Streetlights Through Arschgratia, if they'll ever be a little lighter. And I told him probably not. I have to write the way I write, whether it is good or bad. I'd like to think it's good. I don't know. I have to be honest. And my work has to be pure. Maybe my work will take a turn, but I thought that at the end of Arschgratia Artis. I don't know. Maybe it has. You tell me. I don't think so. All I know is all I know. And all I know is that this is how I write, and I won't forcibly change. Through all of this shit, the piss and the lies, there is deception and corruption, pain and death in the world. And I don't want to be like the people who turn their eyes away. I want to look at it and study it, because I like being able to also appreciate the glaring opposite. In this world, the greatest thing to me is that a child, a boy, a man, can sit down, put pen to paper or fingers to keys, and write whatever the fuck he wants. And that power may be something that ends up putting a smile on a face, a tear in the eye, or changing the world. So to wrap this up, please believe me when I say I miss you all. Those whom have faded from my life, and those whom I've pushed away. But I have so much to do before I die. Once again, I must rise to never fall. This time around, though, it's truly about saying goodbye.